Hello, YouTube.
Hey, YouTube.
This is pre-podcast stuff where we just talk to YouTube when it's not live. Hey, you guys are real beautiful people.
Get ready.
Thanks for watching this. Get ready. First podcast. And we're going live in 3, 2, 1. 7, 6, 5, 4. Hey everyone, welcome to the Acceptable Podcast, a series of in-depth discussions with interesting people from a variety of creative and business backgrounds. My name is Dave Raposa.
And my name is Dan Warren.
Together we run the publishing company Acceptable Comics. Join us every other week as we bring on new guests to get their unique insights into their varying lives and livelihoods. This week we are sponsored by ourselves. Visit acceptablecomics.com today for a preview of our books, available for pre-order now. And visit our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Steve Lichman, for more podcasts, commentary, and streams. Today's guests are popular YouTubers, artists, commentators, and influencers known for their reviews, original content, and documentaries. They have a variety of awesome series on multiple platforms, including YouTube, Vimeo, and Go90, including Epic History, Greater Creators, and the Comic Book Girl 19 show. Welcome, Comic Book Girl 19 and Tyson.
Hey
guys.
Oh, wow.
Did that sound professional? Was that good?
Yeah.
Oh, I loved it. You guys are killing it so far.
Just so everybody knows, we couldn't find a good theme song for the podcast yet, so we decided to use the Spooky Demon song from Fantasia.
Perfect.
figured
I love
why
that
not?
one.
Yeah, it's
So
on
good.
theme.
So good.
So here we are. I'm so glad to have you as our first guest.
Oh, thanks for having us.
Yeah.
great.
I'm honored to be your first.
Yeah, exactly. I can't remember how we started talking a while ago, but we met up in New York at Comic-Con and went to a Blade Blood Rave that was awesome. And talked about Hellraiser and other things until 3 a.m. And I was like, these are high quality people, but
Yeah.
I want as spiritual warriors on my
That
side.
oh my god, that was a magical night.
was
That was
great.
a really magical night. Those nights don't happen all the time, but every now and again
That's
it
when I
all
knew.
lines up. Yeah, and it was wonderful.
How many times did they play the Blade song?
They queued it up to the movie. They were playing the movie on a projector behind
Oh.
Crystal Method.
Yeah,
Like,
I got
I'm
sprayed with
jealous.
blood. I got sprayed with
Yeah.
blood. I was like in the front row, and
was
then
so
but it was kind
dumb.
of just stung my eyes. It kind of just hurt, and it wasn't it wasn't really that great of fake blood. But you know what? I lived it. It was great.
It was great. For anyone
It's all
wondering
about the
who's watching the
experience.
stream right now, today's theme is Dinosaur Jungle. If you aren't watching this and you'd like to check it out, you can go to Twitch TV/Steve Lichman. See it on in the library. But yeah, so this is our first episode of our podcast. We're so glad to have you. Basically, for anyone listening who doesn't know, we're going to be doing a series every other week where we talk to creators and business people from all different avenues of stuff, be it YouTube, game development, artists, movie people, directors, writers, producers, and just asking them how they get into it, what they do, what they want to do, stuff about the industry, stuff they've learned, advice for people that want to get into those things. And you two have done a ton of stuff all across the spectrum. So I guess we'll start with I know you graduated from art school doing sequential art.
Yes.
And then you moved into tattoos, I think.
Yes.
And then you moved into YouTube, right? After that.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, I've done a lot of weird stuff. Yeah.
So did you do a Kickstarter before YouTube to fund it, or did you do YouTube and then do a Kickstarter to do more YouTube?
No, we were already doing the YouTube show for a full year before
Yeah.
we did a Kickstarter. We already had to build up an audience
Yeah.
to
Cool.
have anyone to.
But we
Kickstarters.
I think we were at like 30 or 40,000 I think it was 40,000 subscribers
Mhm.
when we launched our first Kickstarter a year after we had been doing the Comic Book Girl 19 show on YouTube.
And that was early Kickstarter too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was before
that was a while ago.
Patreon and all the other options you have these days.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, our first year, we were working full-time jobs, both of us,
Yeah.
and doing the show out of our apartment couch right in the
Mhm.
living room.
Were
Yes.
you both in LA at the time?
Yes.
Oh,
We
wow.
were.
Okay.
Yeah.
So before LA, I know you, 19, grew up in a small town like me and Dave did, I think, in Alabama, right?
Yes. In
And I'm not sure
Huntsville
where
and
you grew
Madison.
up.
Yeah. Yeah. Same place actually.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're from the same hometown.
Okay, so
Once
we're all
again.
from weird small towns.
Yeah. He also went to SCAD, but he went for film and television, and I went.
Yeah.
Okay.
The truth is, me and Danica both went to the same hometown, but we never knew each other. We both went to the same college, but we never knew each other at those colleges.
Yeah, the high school. Like I think you graduated by the time I was in.
Yeah.
So we like kept missing each other.
Yeah,
That's
we
crazy.
don't even know if we were in the same high school at the same time because our high school's so big.
Yeah.
And then SCAD's enormous also. But I did see you at SCAD after I graduated and came back to hang out with my friend Justin Bergman.
Yeah, who is a mutual friend who also went to the same high school and SCAD. So
Yeah.
yeah. So, but we had like it was crazy. Our high school had just a lot of really creative kids, a lot of really creative kids. Our arts department was really amazing. My art teacher, Mrs. Huey and Mrs. McKelvey, they were both fantastic. They helped me to get a scholarship and get into SCAD and go to let me know that I could be an artist. So that was really cool.
Convince both of our parents to let us.
Yes, convince both of our parents.
Wow.
You know, so
That's the hardest part. Was there like a lot of resistance from your families to do that kind of thing? Pursue art?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Same
Well,
thing with ours.
Well, my mom has always been very supportive of me. She's like, you know what you need to do, just do it. You know, she's kind of one of those more hands-off parents, which works for me really well.
Mhm.
But my dad and my dad's side of the family was very against it. But they're all like engineers and stuff, so they're like, "You're crazy!" Like, oh, and I had a full ride to go to UAB, University of Alabama in Birmingham, and if I hadn't have chosen to go into the arts, I wanted to go into the medical field and I wanted to become a doctor. Or a forensic pathologist, you know, maybe, I don't know, was thinking a few things.
Sure.
And I could have gone to medicals. I mean, I could have gone to my undergrad for free, but then I was like, no, I have to go to art school to be
Follow
an
the
artist.
passion. Yeah, exactly.
And I had to get a bunch of student loans, you know, so
There you go.
I got a bunch of student loans, but that's
What's
whatever.
life without a few loans, you know?
You know what I'm saying? It was worth it. It was worth it just to be able to get out of Huntsville, an engineering town, and be in a place that's just surrounded by other creative people was
So, like,
really
one
integral.
One thing we all have in common that I think is interesting. You mentioned that a lot of people in your school lean towards creative stuff. You had a really good art department. Do you think there was something about growing up in a small town in like the middle of nowhere that kind of pushed you towards creative outlets, or do you think it had any kind of influence?
Absolutely, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. 'Cause you got to make your own fun. I mean,
It's the same with us.
Tyson was making
Yeah.
movies like when he was in high school with his friends. Like,
Oh yeah. Well, we were all running out in the woods, you know, getting poison ivy, making movies,
Of course.
and that was like the most fun in the world.
yeah. He's shown me a few of his high school projects that are really funny. They're really goofy.
What kind of movies were they? Like, what was the genre?
A lot of war movies. A lot of I
Very much a boy.
I wasn't
yeah.
expecting that answer at all.
No, I mean, actually, it's if you look at like what Steven Spielberg did when he was a kid, like it's I guess when you're little, you just want to run it. That's the easiest thing you can get is fake guns.
Yeah.
And so you're like,
Oh,
oh,
sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
you know, let's go make a fake Vietnam movie for
Right. And you have woods. There's so much wood
Yeah,
in
yeah,
No,
Alabama.
you're
using
in
what
Alabama.
Yeah. There's a lot of woods.
I love that.
Yeah. But I don't know. I was always like, I was really into drawing. I was like really big into drawing. Even when I was a little kid, my grandma used to be like, I'm amazed that you can just sit there as a child and be quiet and be excited by yourself with a piece of paper and a pencil. That's awesome. You know, like they were very down with that aspect of, but I did that a lot. I played outside, but I also like drew a lot.
And my parents
Sure.
were semi-supportive of what I was doing, except that they were always telling me I had to be an architect because artists don't make any money.
Yeah, that's the common.
Yeah.
The old
yeah.
story. You
Oh
know, the
no,
old story.
yeah.
Right.
But honestly, I'm really thankful that my family was like, not all my family, but the family members that were against it, like they were like, "You're gonna be a starving artist. You're gonna be a starving artist." And like, I don't know, I'm kind of glad that they told me that because I felt like they weren't lying. I didn't feel like they thought that they were lying either. They were being honest with me, and it was kind of true. And so I just accepted it. And I was like, you know what? I'd rather be a poor artist than like
Yeah.
do anything else, you know? So I accepted being poor and knowing that that was a thing. So like, I don't know, I went into the workforce very unentitled. I was just like, I
No,
mean, I
yeah.
had worked as like a janitor. Like I had worked like all sorts of weird jobs.
Oh,
like,
she's had tons of crazy jobs.
I've had tons of just weird, odd jobs to support myself.
There's something to be said for
What's
that,
one
though.
of
Yeah.
the weirdest ones?
the dog bakery, maybe.
Well, yeah. Well, I did.
Bakery?
I worked at a gourmet dog treat bakery. And I made gourmet dog treats, and they were actually some of them were really tasty. I would try them.
But like to this day, you tell me like, I'm like, what? You used to do that?
I used to work at Edible Arrangements. I used to work at
great.
Chico's Fashions, the older women's fashion store. I used to, like I said,
What?
janitor work on the weekends for some people. I used to sell sea salt scrubs on River Street in Savannah on this little open air market. I tried working at like 2 pizza places. I was a terrible waitress. It really wasn't for me. I was much better. I worked at Suncoast Video in the mall.
Great.
I was a perfume girl one time for one season. I was selling perfume to people at Christmas.
You're out there hustling all the time.
I know. I am a hustler, though. That's the thing. I'm a hustler, and like you have to be a hustler. And as an
Actually-
artist, you need to know that. Like you got to be. You can't just be creative. You also have to be a hustler, in my opinion.
Sure.
Oh yeah, when
Well,
she
you sounds
first,
like. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, when she first got here in LA, I was really impressed with how fast she got a job.
Oh yeah, I just
In
went
the
into all these
first
tattoo
week,
shops.
she-
Yeah. It was just like-
Where I had other friends come in LA and like after months they couldn't find it work.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
we
yeah.
know. Yeah, we know people that happens too. They go out there and they just can't find a gig, like no matter what.
Yeah. I
Well, it
had
sounds like you
competing
had-
offers for my hand in marriage for whatever tattoo shop I wanted to work at.
Right.
I went with Big Daddies in Harbor City. I did that.
Shout out
one.
to Big Daddies.
Shout out to Big
Yeah.
Daddies.
What were
Yeah.
you saying, Dave?
Well, I was just gonna say, it sounds like you had a lot of discipline for somebody who is pretty young and wanted to be an artist. Like I feel like a lot of the times those two things don't go hand in hand. Like
Right.
you have the creative pursuit that you're going after, but you don't really have the work ethic to pull it through
Right.
to the other end where you become somebody. Like I feel like for a lot of people that's almost the hardest part of becoming an artist is the work ethic.
Yeah, I just am a crazy type A personality. I don't know. I'm just like a crazy person. And also, I really like challenges. I love challenges, and being an artist is one of the most challenging things you can do, I feel like. But it's also one of the most rewarding things. But mainly I'm just really like, I just always wanted my independence. I don't know. I just feel like growing up, I was really unhappy in the town that I lived in. I didn't feel like I belonged anywhere. You know, I just didn't feel like I was like, these are not my people. This is not where I belong. I need to get out there. I need to become independent so I can take care of myself and like live my life the way I want to live it, you know? And so that's been very important to me. So I'm willing to hustle in order to have the freedom that I require. I require a lot of freedom, free bird. So I'm willing to hustle for it.
I know, like, in a lot of your videos and documentaries and stuff, you've mentioned that feeling of small townness and not feeling like you belong and individuality. And I know you said at a very young age, that's kind of what got you into comics, I think through X-Men specifically. I'm not sure if that's correct. But...
Yeah. No, X-Men was huge for me.
Okay.
X-Men was huge. The 1994 cartoon show came on, and I was just primed and ready for that shit.
So that's been like a forever thing.
Oh yeah, I mean it's just it. I fell in love, and it's like they helped me so much. I feel like I've built like a lot of my life around the philosophies I learned in X-Men, you know, and they're like good philosophies though. They're solid philosophies that were being explored in this children's cartoon that came directly from the comics, which are masterpieces. I mean, Chris Claremont is just like a lot of Chris Claremont writing is in there, which is some of my favorite X-Men writing. So yeah, I don't know. It's that was huge for me, and it's like it made me understand. I was like, oh, I'm a mutant. That's what it is. Like these people, I just got to find my family. I got to find my weird mutant family, and we'll fight awesome battles, and like it'll be totally cool, and we'll wear cool outfits, and it'll be awesome. And so yeah, but also it helped me to realize that like, I don't know, like, how to look for your own abilities, you know, like we all have superpowers, like we all have mutant powers, we all have things we're really good at, and so it helped me to kind of like try to pick those things out and work on some of those things. And I don't know, I was a very imbalanced child though. Like I feel like I had a little bit of emotional problems, and I wasn't handling things really well, and I didn't have the tools. I was a very sensitive kid, and I didn't have the tools to deal with everything. Yeah. So it was like, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, small towns are not good with sensitive kids.
No.
I was a sensitive kid. Well, that's why I got into tattooing, because I was just like, I need to toughen up, you know, and I wanted to toughen myself up. And I instinctively knew there's no such thing as a safe space, you know, like there is no such thing. So you might as well just face it and get tougher and be tougher than whatever it is. And so, you know.
Yeah, I think that's a good attitude. I mean, another thing, the whole small town sensitive kid feeling, that's another thing I know we have in common is this weird love for Stephen King.
Oh yeah.
A lot of his novels drift into that insecure child, small town weirdness
Mhm.
feeling, and like,
Yes.
is that where the 19 in your name comes from? That's a Dark Tower thing, right?
Yeah, it's partly there's many reasons. There's layers of meaning
There's what
behind
the
why we
sun
have
in
a
the tarot, I
19.
think, is 19 or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, Tyson's hockey number. He
Oh, I
played
didn't know
hockey,
that.
and that was his
That's
number.
cool.
Yeah.
What a hunk.
But definitely, yeah. But definitely Ka-Te, you know,
Thanks.
19 is the number of Ka. And,
Right.
I want to get the universe on my side here. I need universal help because I'm starting at the bottom. I'm on YouTube. I mean,
Right.
we're on YouTube. This is like kind of the gutter of the internet. Like, the reason that we're on there is because no one could tell us no, you know, like we
Sure.
can do whatever we want. But I love it. Again, freedom. I love freedom. I'm always looking for more freedom. And so that's a place where I can be free and kind of say and do whatever I want.
Right.
And you know, I don't know, it's done well.
You
We've
make
done
that
well
trade,
there,
though.
but it's like a gladiatorial arena. I feel like if you can survive on like YouTube, like you can survive anywhere. I feel like it makes you really strong. Just like, again, tattooing, it's like it makes you really strong
Right.
to like grind, you know, in this gladiatorial arena that is YouTube.
I think one thing you guys are particularly good at is that you've adapted your channel from when it started to where it is now by constantly introducing new things and new projects, where a lot of channels just kind of stick to the formula forever. And
Yeah.
like
Well,
sometimes that leads to dying out. Then the adpocalypse sort of stuff happens and they don't know what to do. But like you guys have done Patreon, you've done book clubs, you've done calendars, you've done cosplay stuff, you've, you know, all sorts of things. Like,
we've diversified our portfolio.
Well,
was
that's
that out
also
of
too.
necessity, or was it more from a creative angle of like you wanted to do more because you weren't fulfilled by it, or like where did all that side project stuff come from?
No, I would say that changing our content all the time is actually a bad thing for most channels.
Okay.
If most YouTube channels, you want to stick to a certain topic. Like when we started off, we're like, oh, we're comic books, and we started talking about comic books. And then if you build an audience around that expects comic books, and then you shift, and to something else, it's going to throw people off on YouTube for the most part. But then we're constantly shifting, so we try. That's why our theme is embrace the chaos, because we're trying to tell people like, no, we're always shifting, we're always doing new things.
But a lot of it, I mean, it's out of both though. It's out of necessity. We have tried a lot of different things just because it's like, oh, this one thing will work for like a minute to help financially, secure us to continue making the show. But then it won't work the next time. And then we have to go, okay, well, we'll try something else. The audience isn't responding. Because a lot of our funding does come from you, the internet. We are like the public broadcasting system. Viewers like you.
Well, really, what we're trying to fund is just to be able to make our show.
Yeah.
Just to be able to make our regular Comic Book Girl 19 show.
Yeah. Ad revenue's never been our main source of income though, and I've always known that you can't trust these companies. They don't.
Well, they always change the algorithm anyway.
They always change it. It's like you can't. You're not entitled to anything, so just diversify your portfolio and try new things.
Because you might not make some this month the same you're going to make next month or the month after that, because it's constantly changing and your views are constantly changing. And but one thing I did want to bring up because I thought it was interesting. When I first heard about you guys and I started watching your stuff, obviously the channel was Comic Book Girl and I knew it was comic book themed, but the stuff that was exploding that got me to find you was your Epic History Game of Thrones stuff, which isn't comic book related. But it came out at this perfect time where I'd read all the books and people were asking me how the show was different from the books, and you saved me so much time because I could just send them the goddamn videos. Not have to explain 20,000 pages of differences.
Right.
But that worked out super well. That wasn't comic related, and it blew your channel up like crazy.
Well, yeah. Well, the other thing is I do get bored. I mean, I'm a chaos being myself, and I can't ever do one thing all the time. I get really bored, and so. But I like to there's certain things at certain times in my life that I get really excited about, and I want to, and that was was really excited about Game of Thrones. I was really excited. I had read all the books, started reading them in college, and then when I knew the show was coming out and I was really nervous, and then it came out and then it was a success and it was really good, and I was like, oh my gosh, they didn't fuck it up.
Those first 3 seasons are tight. They're very close to the books.
And then there was this really big new interest in it, and so it really got me fired up. So I was just I want to tell people what's up, because I knew what was up and I wanted to share that with everybody. And so that was a huge gateway though for a lot of people.
But actually, we made our first Game of Thrones video that we shot. It didn't blow up. It sat there for almost a year before it started getting any views. And then all of a sudden, Game of Thrones actually, by season 2, started getting super popular with everyone. And then people came and found our Game of Thrones stuff that was already there.
Yeah.
And now that video has over 2 million views.
That was the
only
crazy
had
thing.
about
It was
40,000 for a year.
Yeah, it was like a
Yeah.
sleeper thing that worked for your channel because the first season was popular, but it wasn't super popular till episode 9 because we all know
Right.
what happened in that. And then the second season was
Mhm.
just like cultural phenomenon, and there were a million YouTube channels. But you guys
Right.
already had the
Yeah.
stuff made; it was already there.
Yeah.
So it was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
Ahead of the curve.
But I was still
Exactly.
shocked that it ever became as popular as it still is now.
Oh yeah, I mean, you know,
Right.
what a cultural zeitgeist, you know, like
Yeah.
whoa,
Right.
like when I mean, I have a stupid ass Lannister tattoo, and when I got it, I didn't think that it would ever like this is like I didn't think it was gonna
Right.
blow up, you know, like it's
Right.
just like oh dang, but whatever. I got a Death Eater fucking symbol too, so
And
You gotta
in a lot of ways,
diversify.
it's too
I'm a
popular.
dork. Yeah, it's true. It's true, guys.
So when you,
The rumors are true.
when you started out your channel, like, did you have a set plan for what you wanted it to be? Because one thing about your channel that's different from a lot of other ones that do similar stuff is that you put a lot of production into your stuff, especially like your epic history things. You had animated transitions, you had music, you had some voice acting in certain ones, you had
Yeah.
images to go with it. You cut it really well, like really professionally for time in between shots of you and, you know, artwork and, you know, quotes from the book. And like, was that always something you wanted to do, more like, you know, high-end YouTube content, I guess, if that's the way to put it, or just more
Well,
production?
all that production value is all T-Bone, guys. That's all
Okay.
this dude.
Because that's
He
what
can't
really
make-
stood
He
out to
can't
me.
make something simple. He's got to make some shit that's like slick and like crazy and like
Yeah.
challenging and
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess tell them the story about how we actually started the channel that bleeds into why
yeah.
I have this problem.
Well, yeah, like I was watching him and I saw him over like a course of like 4 years, like work on a short film called Life in Space. You can check it out on YouTube. It's on our channel. And it was amazing, but he did everything. He like wrote it and directed it and starred in it and produced it and just like everything, like composited it, did all the editing for it. And I was just like watching him do all this work. And I also helped him on another short film, Ghost Perv. And that one didn't take nearly as long because it was like a lot less special effects. But after
Great
watching him
title.
for a long time, I was like, dude, like you need to do something that's just like fast that you can just like do in the living room that doesn't cost anything, that's like super cheap. And I had just got back into comics and I was really excited about them. I didn't really have many people to talk to about them. And Drunk History had come out and I loved Drunk History.
Oh,
And I was
sure,
like, dude,
yeah.
I was like, just get me stoned and I'll talk about X-Men on the couch because I just love talking about the X-Men, you know? And so that was kind of like the impetus for it. And eventually I wore him down and he filmed me. And I was really nervous the first time. I'd never like been on camera like that. I was just a humble tattooer at the time.
She was super nervous
I
in
was
our first
super nervous.
video that never aired.
Yeah. And
But you shake that off really fast.
but yeah, well, I got it. You know, I got it took me, you know, it's awkward, but you get it. You figure it out. And then we just like put it on YouTube and just people liked it and we got a lot of positivity and people were very encouraging. So it encouraged us to make more. And then through that first year, I mean, we
Right.
ended up having 40,000 subscribers by the end of our first year. And that's when we did the Kickstarter and we were like, hey, we want to do this full time. Looks like a viable thing for us.
Mhm.
So we did our Kickstarter and I quit my job at the tattoo shop the first day of our Kickstarter and we reached our
Wow.
goal. Our original goal was, I think, for $20,000 and we reached our goal like the first day, like the first beginning
hour.
of the day. Yeah, like the
That's
first
awesome.
hour, you know,
That's
it was
crazy.
like, it was just like such a magical day. Like it was just such a magical, like, see you guys, like, haha, you know, my boss at the time, Coop, I love him. He was just like, oh, you know, you're not gonna make it. You know, he was just trying to be a hater, you know, he was being
Sure.
a hater. But hate motivates, you know, hate motivates. And it was pretty pimp to like be like, oh, got my $20,000 today. See ya, boss. Like, it was sick. I left early. It was so good.
What was the idea of like making a Kickstarter? Had you guys seen other channels do anything like that to like fund a season of like your own kind of show or something?
Gosh, I can't remember now. It's been almost 5 years.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean,
Right.
we did a failed Kickstarter before that Kickstarter, but it was before Comic Book Girl 19. So Kickstarter had been around. It's something that we had already like
Mhm.
played with once before. And then it was becoming more and more popular. It was kind of like big in the news and it was starting to come in the consciousness. And I wanted to use that platform specifically.
But then we realized, you need an audience for Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need an audience for Kickstarter. And then
Yeah.
we did another one when we had an audience and guess what?
Yeah.
You know, it worked out. So, yeah, you know, so It's like that failure kind of helped lead us into the next success, though. I mean, that's just small business. It's just failing over and over again.
What did the Kickstarter like change about how you guys developed the show? Like, did you start to, I mean, I figure you guys were treating it like pretty seriously before this, you know, going into a campaign, but like, what did it change after the fact when you were like, oh, well, this is pretty cool?
Before the Kickstarter, like Danica was doing tattooing and I was also doing freelance video editing. And right before that, I worked at a post house. But after the Kickstarter, it just allowed us to work full time on the show. However, what we quickly realized is that somehow we had less time than we did when we had other jobs. Because then we had to do packing and shipping for all the incentives that we made for people.
We're very familiar with how much time shipping takes.
I mean, you guys go bananas too. You're super extra with like your Steve Lichman stuff. Like you guys have all the goodies, and like we're not even that extra, but we were still pretty extra. And like I learned some lessons. Like I had never managed I went from being a tattooer to being a Kickstarter manager, you know? And
it's a crazy learning curve doing your first crowdfunding campaign. It's like,
dude, trying to get like shipping was just a fucking nightmare, and it still is to this day. But I've learned a lot. Shipping is really a dragon. It's like fighting a dragon.
Shipping is the one thing I tell everybody that asks about doing crowdfunding is I'm like, whatever you think you're going to need, add 25% to the bill, because shipping is going to fuck you no matter what you think you're doing.
Shipping is crazy. I know. It's super nuts. But that was the thing that was the most surprising to me, is that after we did the Kickstarter, I was like, oh, we're going to have so much time to work on the show. And
we're also like, we're going to do 2 videos per week.
Right.
Guaranteed.
No, we never said that. We didn't fucking say that. We never said that. Okay. I just made sure that we didn't make any solid promises.
Well, we thought we were going to shoot 2 videos per year.
Well, that's what I wanted to do, but
you got to come out ambitious. I mean, that's the thing, is you get that hype, especially
right? Well, the thing is too,
it's like without a full-time job, we're gonna have all this time now. But then the shipping and stuff.
Well, all that, and plus we found out too that's like, you know, I don't want to perform. I'm not really a performer. I'm a fraud everything that I do. You know, I'm just like a pretender of I'm just a little weirdo. Sure. I'm a space brain, just floating around.
Fake it.
And right now I'm being a host, you know, and whatever. But wait, fuck, where was I going with this? I lost my train of thought already. I'm
quick.
I know. I'm like,
okay. So one question I'm real curious about is one thing about your channel that stands out that's different from other channels, except maybe like Red Letter Media, is
specifically ones that talk about like commentary on things.
Yeah, one thing that's unique about you guys and possibly I guess them is that you do everything in universe, where you have characters and recurring characters, and even in the beginning you had scenarios like a troll exterminator would come to the house, and like
you saw that one.
I mean, I've seen pretty much all your stuff at this point, but like nice. I love your content. I recommend it all the time. It's one of my favorite things to leave on when I'm like drawing or like doing freelance. It's like perfect. Like it's the perfect background content for like entertaining. There's music, it's interesting, I can glance over every couple minutes and see something cool. But like I'm sure you're familiar with that. That's like very important to have when you're freelancing, is like the right background mix.
I love drawing
the zone.
Other stuff.
Yeah,
exactly. Stuff that gets you in that zone to do stuff. But I was curious in the beginning, what led you to decide to do the show as sort of its own little world with characters and stuff, sort of like a Mystery Science Theater 3000 or like a Beekman's World, where it's like it's not just the host, it's the host in this kind of world of their own with like a space brain and a robot and trolls and other characters and things.
Well, for me, like we were going back with our previous story, I've always been trying to make short films, and I think that instinct just sort of started bleeding into.
Yeah, we already had Robot. I mean, he was already on our balcony just collecting dust. I mean, he was chilling out there. I was like, I even had proposed at one point. I was like, can we throw this away? Like, he was on our balcony for years, just sitting there doing nothing. And so, because Tyson had built him for when he was in Atlanta for like a proposed car commercial, but then something went wrong. The car commercial never happened. And then Robot showed up in Life in Space, that short film. And then he was under a cloak on the balcony. And then we busted him out for the show.
Wow.
And he just kind of took on a life of his own really fast.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, but the bigger question was, how did we start making this meta reality?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think it all just starts with Robot. It's just all Robot. Like once you put him in the mix, like it was like, well, now we have a Pee-wee's
that's true.
Playhouse, like,
That's
you know,
true.
Mystery Science Theater thing, which I loved Pee-wee's Playhouse growing
Yeah,
up.
actually, that's a great point.
I
Yeah, it is very
love
Pee-wee.
Mystery Science Theater 3000. I grew up on that. So like I love practical puppets and dumb shit. So like it kind of all made sense. But
And
really,
the most fun stuff we ever have doing on our show is doing these B plots.
Yeah.
Although we rarely do it.
yeah. Well, it's just the thing is we're just such a small little production company here that we don't have enough help usually to kind of do all this extra stuff. Because well, what I was saying earlier when I lost my train of thought was that I can never do this. Like, I know that there's some people that do this every day, that stream every day or talk to people every day. Like, I can't do that. I don't have the energy to do that. But, and the thing is Tyson's like really like extra. Like, he wants to do some crazy stuff. So, like, we're never going to be able to do like a bunch of like 2 videos a week. Like, we're never, no matter how much help we have, you know, it doesn't matter because we have a higher production value and that just takes time. And robot and all that is kind of part of the reason why it does take so much more time though to do it, you know, and everybody loves it, but then everyone wants more and you're like, oh, sorry, like just takes a lot of time to do this. Like
that is one other thing I really like about what you guys do is you tend to lean into criticism and address it head on. Like putting the trolls in the video as characters, saying comments from your videos was like genius to me.
Oh man, it
And,
feels
like,
so good too to do the voices for the trolls. It's very cathartic.
Yeah, that was great. And I think a recent video you were like leaning into the negativity of the movie reviews and just like addressing it head on, like a dramatic, like tonight, you know, this is going to be super negative. Like it almost has like an Unsolved Mysteries vibe.
Oh
But,
yeah, totally.
Yeah, I like that stuff. Do you enjoy trying to work with that stuff and not, because I feel like a lot of people just ignore the negativity and just let it build up.
No, I love using it right now. It is so much fun, and we've been doing this comic book girl scandals this year.
It's really fun. It's really fun.
Because the thing is, when you have this audience, like there is, I guess it's, I don't know if it's with you guys, but maybe it's with all YouTubers. There's like this certain amount of people in the audience, if you read the comments, which you shouldn't, that are just always trying to like find something that you're guilty of.
Yeah.
Like you're just the worst person.
Well, I mean, it's, you know, it's the internet. Like you're going to get every response, you know, like if you have a wide enough audience, you're just going to receive every response, whatever you can think of. And I will say the thing that I like about crazy comments on the internet is like when they surprise you, like some people say something so crazy. It's like, whoa, like, how did you come up with that? Like, I think that that's kind of fun, but I don't know. It's taken me a lot. I mean, it's taken me a few years though, to like have such a jovial attitude about it. When I first started doing this, you know, when people start insulting you
when we first started, we didn't realize the world was all possibility of reactions.
Yeah. But the thing is,
Loads
I don't know. I'd already been like criticized a lot in my life though, you know, like I was like bullied like a lot in middle school. And like, I felt like my family trolled me and bullied me a lot. And then, you know, it's like, I felt like the reason why I try to be so like, oh, like badass female, just because I felt like I let myself get bullied a lot when I was a kid. I didn't stand up for myself. And so,
that's also another very small town thing.
Yeah,
it's especially when you're a creative kid in a small town, it tends to hear that story a lot. But one thing before we get off the topic of your production value, I did want to bring up to anybody watching who hasn't seen them, your Epic History X-Men stuff is some of my favorite stuff to leave on when I'm working. It's got music, it's got voice acting, it's got animated comic pages. You pretend to be the characters, you bring on voice actors to be ones that aren't you guys. It's got everything. And I think, are they all on YouTube now, or are they still on Vimeo?
It's all on YouTube now.
It's all on YouTube and still also on Vimeo.
Like what, like an hour long or more?
Yeah, they're each about an hour long. Like exactly, I think almost an hour long each one.
Hour and 6 minutes.
Hour and 6 minutes.
I know because I edited all 3.
Oh yeah, and I helped. Come on, Shake and Bacon. I helped, and it was gnarly.
It starts with what, X-Men 1, and then it runs all the way through Dark Phoenix?
Yeah. Epic History X-Men Volume 1 is about like their inception and when they burst out, you know, in the mid-60s. And then it goes all the way to like 1975, mid-70s, when they became A-listers, when we're reborn again. So we talk about like their beginnings. And then Volume 2, we get into the Phoenix saga, where Jean Grey becomes the Phoenix. And then Volume 3 takes us through the Dark Phoenix saga, which I think leads us up to like 1980. So it's like, so we have from like 1965 to like 1980 of X-Men.
Right.
A lot of X-Men
And
stuff.
for anyone listening who hasn't seen these, they're like full-on documentaries with crazy production value. Like,
Yeah.
highly recommended. Go check them out. Definitely buy them if you can. It's worth it. Like, gotta support people that go to that level to make things like that, because no one does.
Yeah,
hardly
well,
anybody puts in that effort.
That's
Crazy
so
amount of
funny.
effort.
That's so funny you say that, because people all the time are like, "Where's Epic History X-Men Volume 4?" And I was just like, "Well, nobody supported this
Yeah,
shit, so
it's
no,
not-
so never. It's
Well,
never
don't
happening."
say nobody. Lots of
Well,
nice people
yes,
came
no.
out and supported it.
There were a lot of nice people who came out and supported it. They did agree. There was actually,
And that was also, we can also blame that on Vimeo a little bit.
yeah,
I mean,
Vimeo. There was some issues behind the scenes with Vimeo that kind of like didn't go well. Some behind the scenes mechanics of everything. That
regardless,
didn't
it's
work out.
not financially feasible to do
It
another
was,
one right
you
now.
know, yeah, we
Right.
did break even on them, you know, at least we didn't lose money. We broke even on them. And I mean, I think that's a win as a creative
So,
person.
like-
I was like, as long as you
Oh,
break
yeah.
even, like, and you can gamble again, you know, live to
Definitely.
fight another day.
I mean, you still got points and like tons of people saw it. I mean, so breaking even still is kind of a win, but like,
Yeah.
I know
Well,
you work with Marvel on stuff. Like, did anyone over there promote it or see it, or like, is that a weird legal gray area, or like?
I don't know. They've never said anything to me about it. I've never heard anything one way or the other.
Mhm.
I have worked with Marvel, but they've never commented upon it, or they, you know, they have no, you know, collusion
Right.
in this.
No, we never get an official response from any big company like
Yeah.
Marvel, but occasionally, you know, people that work at these companies are.
But I mean,
fans of
I
it.
tried to like get a couple people who are working at Marvel to take a look at it. Like, I kind of want to
Right.
be like, check it out, because like maybe you could sponsor us to make some more
Yeah, 'cause
shit.
it was
like
like,
this,
oh,
you
This
know.
should be a
But
thing they're
I wish.
promoting. Like, this should be a thing that they're actively promoting, because like
right,
it's so
this is
good.
like the best commercial for them ever.
Especially now that like X-Men's about to get rebooted again.
I'm so
Probably
glad.
the
I'm so
right
glad.
way.
This is
So
exactly why I
close.
did this. This is exactly why we did the
Mhm.
Phoenix Saga, because I was just like, oh my gosh, they're gonna ruin it again at some point. I have to get the real story out there.
Yeah.
They can't keep doing this. And so now I feel my conscience feels really good that like at least, you know, I can't save the X-Men franchise, the movies. I can't. I have to it's just gonna hurt me forever. It's fine. I accept the pain.
She's not satisfied with the Fox X-Men series.
I'm not satisfied, but you know
The
what?
happiest
There's
I've
one
seen
small
you.
thing I can do is at
Yeah.
least tell the story as it was in the comic books and relate that to people, because it is esoteric. It's kind of hard to read all of the issues, because this is like
Mhm.
a lot of stuff that you have to go back and read, because the Phoenix Saga and Dark Phoenix Saga don't take place in some little arc. There's some 12 issue convenient arc. It doesn't happen like
Right,
that.
because in like late 80s, early 90s, that shit
Yeah,
was
I mean,
spread out.
it's spread out over like 4 years.
Yeah.
It's spread out over like 4 years of issues of comics, you know? So, but I'm glad that I have that out there so people can get the real scoop. And when this new movie comes out, we'll get a lot more people coming back around to watch this. And I'm excited to have a whole new wave of people coming in and learning about the real Phoenix Saga.
Definitely tag your videos when that comes out at the end with "Go check this out" if you want the real one, because I feel like that's the perfect opportunity.
Yeah, it was so much fun doing the voice acting for that, though. It was
those were
we
great.
had so much fun. It was like the most fun. I really loved doing Lilandra's voice. She was like,
Oh yeah, that was great.
good.
The she's
She was
like
really
Professor
good.
X's whatever
Yeah.
space girlfriend lady.
Space princess, royal
Yeah.
space princess girlfriend. And then I did Jean, and I did various goons. I did a couple of just like goons here and there. T-Bone did Scott. You were Cyclops.
Mhm.
Did you do anybody else? Were you just Cyclops? I can't remember if you did anybody
I
else.
think you did Wolverine.
No, we got this
No?
guy Chris Rockriver to do Wolverine. He killed it. I was
Yeah,
just
that was a good Wolverine
bro.
impression.
bro, I was like, you need to be doing this. Like Wolverine, they need to hire you to do Wolverine's voice. It was just like he had that little bit of a Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that Jack Nicholson. Oh, so good. It
Yeah,
was
until he
so
started doing
good.
that, I didn't realize, oh man, Jack Nicholson's voice is perfect
It's
for a
so
Wolverine
good.
voice.
Like
pretty good.
he killed it. And then we had our friend Mick Ignis. He did a couple things. We had our friends Joe and Bill come in. They live down the street. We were just like, hey, could you guys do some voices? You know, we have some other production
We just
friends.
got a bunch of friends to come over and do it.
Yeah, it was so much fun. It was so much fun.
I don't think it clicked with me how like I knew you loved X-Men and you were very invested in it. It didn't click with me how much it meant to you until Deadpool came out and they got Colossus right. Because that was like the
Yeah.
happiest I've seen you in a video.
It was so
Well,
good.
that's going back to Trolls. A lot of people claim that you hate the X-Men when really you love the X-Men.
No, yeah, I
that's-
love the
I
X-Men
can
more
tell.
than you. That's the problem. I love them more. I know them. I know the real them. You don't even know these.
Yeah, that
people.
was crazy though. Like seeing them finally do Colossus right after what, 15,
So
20 years of
good.
movies.
I know, and he's such a positive guy. Like, he's not like, you always see him depicted like, people think if they just look at images of him that he's like this brute, when in fact he's a very sensitive artist. You know, he's an artist. Yeah. They call him little brother. You know, like everybody on X-Men calls him little brother. You know, he's like their little brother. It's so cute. He's so innocent. I love him.
But that's what I'm afraid of in the next Deadpool. They're going to backtrack and go back to the Bryan Singer vision.
We'll see. We'll see.
We got Cable now, and I don't remember who else is in it from X-Force, but there's a bunch of characters now.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I'm excited. We'll see. Although I think I'm sad that Tim Miller isn't directing. That kind of makes me like, we'll see.
I'm afraid they're not going to have that Colossus purity from the comics that we were in love with.
Right. So but you know, I guess we'll see what happens after the Dark Phoenix. I wish since Disney's like buying them, I wish they could just like shit can that movie and just like,
I was wondering if
they were like, you know what, let's just not like, we don't want you.
It.
Well, it's like, it's gonna damage their IP. I mean, it's like, this is damaging, in my opinion, to the IP of the X-Men. Damaging, like for them to like ruin it again. I know I don't know for sure, but I do know for sure. Okay. Like, I do know.
I don't know. After Apocalypse, I think it's safe to say.
Right?
But,
Come on. Anyone who's awake and paying attention knows that this is going to be a huge mistake.
But, you know, Marvel is going to probably have it, and then we'll get to see probably the best X-Men movies that have been made to date when they do their thing, and I'm excited about that.
Can you imagine Storm and Black Panther on the big screen together? Everyone's going to lose their minds. It's going to be
I'm waiting for short Wolverine.
I know.
Give me
I hope that happens so much. I hope they find a gross dude to play Wolverine.
He needs to be like 5'7" at the tallest. 5'7" at the tallest. I would prefer like 5'5", 5'3", you know, packed on with muscle.
And also,
Harry.
I think it's pretty remarkable that, I mean, Disney Marvel could keep going for another 20 years with all the X-Men characters.
They have access to all that stuff and the Fantastic Four stuff that they're supposedly getting back, and Spider-Man now. They can do this for 30 more years and not run out of material.
Well, that's the thing. Is like, you know, these characters have transcended the comics, and now kids, instead of reading the comics, are going to be watching these movies, and that's how they're going to grow up with them. Just like I didn't read the X-Men comics when I was growing up. Like, I watched the cartoon series because it had already happened.
Right.
But then it led me back to the comics. So, but that's kind of like these characters are living on in a new medium, and it's really kind of exciting. I mean, it's like, wow, these are such powerful characters.
Right.
Sticking around this long.
Another thing that you guys worked on, similar to the Epic History X-Men stuff, was your series Greater Creators. I wanted to talk about that briefly.
Yeah.
I love those. I love watching those.
Thank you.
If anyone isn't familiar with them, it's basically miniature classes teaching you about different kinds of creators that do different things. There's an Alan Moore one. There's a Frank Frazetta. There's all different kinds of things from people all over the industry that were just, you know, the Jack Kirby episode's really good. That's a good place to start.
Pilot.
Yeah,
that was our pilot.
That's a great one. But I really love that, and I feel like it should have got way more attention than it did.
Yeah, I know.
Well, it was lost on Go 90 somewhere.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, it's just.
Yeah, what exactly was Go 90?
Well,
is
it still there? I don't know. I guess it's still there.
I keep expecting it to die, but I check back in every few years, and it's like still there, and I'm like, really? Like, how much money does Verizon have to dump into this?
So Go 90 is Verizon's attempt to make their own YouTube competitor, maybe. I don't know what they're trying to do. I don't think they know what they're trying to do.
I think I know. I have my theories.
Let's hear it.
Conspiracy theories. I think that the original intent for Go 90 was to be an app on your phone, and it got people to watch. They want to encourage people to watch shows on their phone and watch content so that they can eat up their data, and that Verizon can charge them.
Oh, that's actually a pretty solid theory.
And then I guess with net neutrality, eventually they could just push that reality to happen eventually.
I mean, well,
Right.
we'll see. We'll see. See what Robocop universe will happen.
I remember hearing about Go 90 everywhere when it launched, and I saw you guys were doing a thing for it, and I was, I
never saw any ads for it.
I saw ads for it. People were talking about it at New York Comic Con that one year a lot. Oh, really? And it was going to be this thing, and then it just kind of went away. And like,
well, they never
did this awesome show. And like, do you have the rights to it? Can you put the whole thing out, or do they still own it?
No.
See, what happened was that people from Machinima were working for Go90, and they got a contract to make 400 hours of content,
however many,
whatever. And they came to us and
as subcontractors,
right? And they were like, "We're huge fans of your show. Oh, can you guys just make some kind of show for us? Do you have any ideas?"
We were like, "Yes."
And we just pitched this idea in the room because we wanted to do episodes of our show on these creators. And we're like, "Well, what if we did a whole series on our favorite artists?"
I didn't even know the series was your idea. That's crazy. I thought they came to you with the idea.
No, we pitched this to them and they liked it, and they gave us money to make the pilot, which was the Jack Kirby thing. We made that, and then they liked it and they watched it and greenlit the rest of it. And then
it was like 6 months of contracts and then arguing about how many episodes we were going to do. We wanted to do the minimum of 6. They wanted 12.
Yeah, sure. 11 or 12. Yeah.
And we were like, we can't do 12 because that would kill our YouTube channel to leave for that long.
Right.
Yeah.
Eventually we got talked into doing 12, which was the biggest mistake of my life.
Yeah. We let our manager talk us into it.
For what it's worth, it's really good content.
Thank you.
I hope there's a time where you can promote it and use it and make money off it again, because like I've watched all of it. It's really good.
Thank you. Yeah, it was our practice show. I feel like it was our practice show, and we learned a lot of like really valuable lessons. Like we learned a lot of really valuable lessons doing it, and I'm really glad that we did it, and I'm really proud of it.
I learned tons of stuff, especially the Jack Kirby one. There's stuff in there that I never knew about him. It's like for anyone listening who does art or editing or anything where you want to put something on in the background where you can be interested in what you're listening to and learn something while you're doing your work. It's a great series for that, because there's stuff in there about Frazetta. I'm a huge fan of Frazetta. I have been since I was a kid. There's stuff in there I didn't know about him.
Jack Kirby. Yeah. I was just talking to Frazetta girls. Some of his, I think it's his granddaughters that are running like his museum and his stuff, and like they just made this Death Dealer phone case with like blood in it and like little skulls floating around. And I was like, "Can I get one of those?" And they were like, "Yes." And I'm so excited. I was just like, "Yes, I know Frazetta girls." Like they knew me because of the Greater Creators Frazetta episode. And there's like a lot of people. I'm surprised, even though I feel like it didn't get as much. I don't feel like it got as many people watching it. I feel like a lot of times when people come up to me and talk to me, they say, "Oh my God, I love Greater Creators." Like I hear people say,
"Yeah, I'm always surprised that anyone saw it," because we didn't explain what happened. Was that when we started making the show, then telling us they told us this is possibly going to go on Go90 or some other platform, because these were just brand new and we didn't even know what Go90 was at the time. We're like, okay.
Right.
I guess
it was the PlayStation Network, I think was the other one.
And we didn't realize the biggest downside of Go90 was that it was US only. So only our fans in America were able to watch it. Like even people in Canada couldn't see it. When that came out, that really pissed off a lot of our fans.
Yeah, they really bummed out.
We were gone for 3.5 months working on this, and then half people can watch it.
Yeah.
So, but it's just now, after over a year, finally come to YouTube.
Yeah.
In the last month, actually, they just finally released all the episodes on YouTube, so people finally can watch it around the world.
I don't think all of them are on there yet, but I think most of them are on there.
Yeah, they're all on there now.
Majority are up there, if not all of them, for sure.
But it's on the Go90.
Even Jodorowsky?
Yeah.
Is Jodorowsky on there?
Yeah.
Okay, now I can tweet that to him. Good.
Awesome.
Yes.
Oh, great. Yeah, you guys, everybody watching should go check that out for sure.
Yeah,
those are great stuff.
No, that was so much fun. It was so great to I really loved I don't know, making some edutainment. That was a really cool thing, and I'm really proud of it. I had
when you say you were working on it, like I remember texting you when it was happening, and you were like, "Tyson's freaking out. He's rebuilding a set." And I was like, "You're doing that level stuff?" Like, my God.
No, it was okay. Listen to this, all right? Like
you're like on board for this whole thing.
There was some shenanigans. There's a lot of shenanigans going on. This was not, even though I'm proud of it. The process was really difficult. And at one point we realized we had to do a lot of reshoots, and we had to add on a couple of things, and we didn't have a studio anymore. We had already shot most of it. We had like a week in a studio to shoot, and we shot most everything, but then we needed more. And so we recreated the set.
We created a small portion of the set.
A small portion of the set in our
just
studio.
To do close-up shots as reshoots for a few things.
And then the obelisk shots
who doesn't
too.
know, the set was like a completely white room. It was like this very like that TV room in Willy Wonka, just like white everything. So like when they say they built a miniature version of it in their apartment, like that's a crazy amount of work.
Yeah, it was really crazy, but Tyson made it work. I was like, that was one of those things where, you have these limitations as an artist, and you're like, how am I ever going to, overcome this? And then there's just these really creative solutions. And Tyson just came up with like the perfect creative solution for this, and it really saved our asses. It was like,
Yeah.
wow, like, and he made it happen. I was just like, good job, you're amazing. Like, that's so good.
Yeah.
But it's hilarious. Those two obelisks, we have these big white obelisks in the show, and we use them like all the time. Like they're like regular little things we use.
Actually, I'm sitting in the Greater Creators chair right now.
Oh yeah, we're using the desk right now. We are. We have
all of the background stuff just became the most useful stuff.
I know. We use like 100% of our stuff since we're lean and mean.
We reuse everything.
That's what you gotta do, man. Gotta make it work.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, where do you think going forward, do you see yourselves doing another like edutainment type thing like those, or do you want to stick to more what you've been doing now, like the book clubs and things?
No. Moving forward, we've been talking about doing a narrative show for like 3 years now.
Yeah, we want to kick it up a notch.
Yeah, I'm ready to make this happen.
Totally.
You guys work super hard.
We've
we're crazy. Can't stop, won't stop.
No, it's a good thing. I like that you constantly switch it up because it's always something new, but the classic stuff is still there. Like you're still doing movie reviews and other things.
Yeah.
But,
well, and this is just growing upon what we've already done. It's like we want to take the show and like how you had Wayne's World on Saturday Night Live and you love Wayne's World, okay? But then they have their own movie and you get to see like the meta reality around Wayne and Garth outside of set,
the whole small town they live in,
and the small and all the shit that's going on. And so we kind of want to do something similar to that with our show.
We want to do Pee-wee's
Robot
Big Adventure.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, right. Sure.
So, and I think that this year on our YouTube channel, like the official Comic Book Girl 18 episodes, where you're going to see a lot more of our meta reality, a lot less of the review stuff and a lot more of the weird, like living with a robot and a space brain and trolls. And
our goal is to establish this meta reality over a few episodes and then
hopefully lead into
maybe doing a Kickstarter or something.
I don't know. Yeah.
Pilot episode.
Maybe doing, I don't know. We haven't discussed that yet. We're trying to figure out how, we'll figure it out as we go. But by the end of the year, we want to be able to kind of move into launching some sort of funding scenario to where we can make a pilot for our narrative show.
I think that's awesome.
And we'd rather do that with our audience as opposed to working with these other big companies because we've had nothing but frustrating experiences with
we just need creative control. It's the thing, freedom. I just need freedom. Like I need freedom, and you don't get that with these big companies. Like because when Daddy's paying for something, you got to play by Daddy's rules. So it's like I need.
Do you remember the first time that we worked with those people from Paramount? This was after our Game of Thrones series. I want to tell this story.
Oh, this is so crazy.
These producers came to us and they were like, "Oh, we love your Game of Thrones series. Let's develop a TV show for." Was it NBC? CBS? It was like a major network. I was like, why are you guys talking about a major network for us? That's not right.
Yeah, right.
But we start working with these two producers, and they're pretty high up there.
Oh yeah.
And then
they were like producers on like The Doctors and stuff like that, like real shows.
And we didn't know anything. We were like so fresh.
Yeah.
And so we just talked to them, and then like just the meetings, they keep just changing everything into a completely different show.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
One of the meetings they were
one of the last meetings was
right. I remember one of them going like, "So are you Robot on the show?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I play Robot." And like, "Oh, we love Robot. He's really funny. So we want to lose the robot."
I know it was just like a cartoon. Like it was like such a cartoon. I was like biting my tongue, like what?
And then the other lady's like, "So I know you talk about comics a lot." And movies, but we don't want to do that. We want to talk about apps.
We want to talk about apps. Let's do a show. We're talking about apps, and I'm like, I don't fucking know anything about apps. I fucking hate apps. Like I'm what? Like
I'm trying to picture a show on NBC with a girl without a robot talking about apps, and it's like,
that's
what
like
even is that?
Like you even know what? But the thing is, they didn't understand what we are. It's like I remember one time they said, "Oh yeah, my daughter watched this, and she said you guys were really funny or something." It's like, okay, so if your kids are telling you that we're good, that means that you don't get it. Like you don't think we're good. You don't get it. And I don't want to. Sure, I'll work with somebody if they want to give me money and then not get it and then don't give me a bunch of dumb notes. But if you're gonna produce me and then give me a bunch of dumb notes,
after we had to write them and say, we're not interested in this partnership. It's going in a weird direction.
Yeah, this is going sideways.
Then I think we're still out from Paramount for 5 years, so we can't develop anything with Paramount.
You'll never work.
That was like 5 years ago. We're good now.
Yeah, so we should be good now.
We're good now.
So we're back, baby.
We're back. Yeah, we're back on the table.
You'll never see another dime.
So stupid.
That's great.
I remember one time, actually, this was really funny. I got hooked up with talking to there's this woman that I know, and she's real in the like industry Hollywood, like in Hollywood's been working in entertainment for like 20-30 years. And she was like, I got this new manager, she's so great, you should talk to her, like I don't know, and I was like, okay, cool, I'll talk to her. And like I had this kind of interview with this lady, and she really wanted to support, like she was about supporting other female artists and stuff like that. And we talked, and we had this big meeting, and it was like, oh yeah, okay. I was like, brought up Tyson as my partner, and like I could tell she was instantly turned off that I had a male partner. That was a huge no to have a male partner. And then also she was like, I remember she asked me, she's like, well, whose career do you kind of want to emulate, And I was like, I don't know, David Lynch, and I was like, and that like she was like, never called me again. You know what I'm saying? We never talked again after that.
Right.
It was really funny. I wonder what she told old Dava. Like she's like, that girl's crazy. Why did you have me talk to her on the phone? I don't know. I hope I didn't embarrass
answer though, David Lynch. That's good.
Yeah, but I was being honest.
Yeah.
So
now, after all these problems, we just want to make our own pilot.
Yeah,
and show people what we're trying to accomplish.
We know our audience, and our audience likes our stuff, and we, like we feel confident in our vision that people are going to like it because we know our audience, and we can do it. We just need to find the resources to do it. We got the talent. We got all the stuff. We just
when we have collected a bunch of friends in town that can do everything for
oh
us,
my gosh,
special effects.
I know we have so many amazing friends.
Isn't that the weird thing? Like when you start doing stuff, you find other people, and you have this weird team. Like even from doing comics, me and Dave know like musicians now, and like audio producers.
Yeah,
voice
suddenly
actors.
people just gravitate towards you because you're making things.
Yeah,
strange.
Creative types. One thing I say that one thing that was really valuable actually about going to going to art school, is it prepared me for LA, because LA is just like a really big art school.
Sure. Yeah, that's a very good way to put it. Yeah.
Like you have every major here, you've got your photographers, you got your musicians, you've got your actors, you've got your everything, painters, whatever, sculptors, you name it. Which is really cool. And I love being able to meet all these new people.
And through our show, we ended up meeting you guys, which was really
That's
cool.
true. Which is like crazy weird, and I love it. But
yeah,
it's really weird because like I know Tyson used to listen when me and Dave did Crimson Dagger stuff forever ago, and then I reached out to you guys, and I was like, I listen to your show all the time, and it was this weird connection, fun connection.
And I was like, oh, I've been listening to you guys. I remember when, Dave was drawing Ninja Turtles digital painting, and I would follow along, and I learned so much stuff from those live streams.
So pumped.
That was back in 2011.
So pumped. Let me
that
tell
was
you.
right after I quit my job at World of Video doing a post house that I hated so much for a year.
Gosh.
And then I came home and I just started drawing all the time.
Oh, you inspired him to go get some Sculpey, and he sculpted a little head and lit it, did the lighting on it.
Did it help?
Yeah.
Oh, totally. I had no idea about that concept of sculpting your thing before you paint it.
Oh, yeah. He told me all about you.
That was so exciting.
He told me all about you, Raposa. He was so pumped, and that's how I got into you. Is through Tyson, watching your videos. And then I actually met you, Dave, once a billion years ago at a New York Comic-Con before I was Comic Book Girl, and I bought a Leonardo print sign.
You met both of us.
Yeah.
I
bought that shit for tea. I bought him because he loved the
it's still hanging
so
in
much.
our bathroom right
It is
now.
hanging in our bathroom. So whenever Tyson's peeing, he can look at it.
I look at it every day.
He looks at it every day.
That's so weird.
Multiple times a day.
That we saw you in New York that year. That's so crazy.
Yeah.
Actually, I remember how we started talking now. You were doing a roundtable movie review discussion, I think with like Amy Dallin or something.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, no.
Was it Amy?
Well, no. That was a different. Well, see, that's not the New York Comic Con I'm talking about.
No. I mean on YouTube.
Oh, okay. No, I wasn't on YouTube then.
You were like, why don't they? It was a couple years later, and you were like, why don't they hire this guy Dave to do concept art for movies? And then I reached out, and I was like, hey, we could like talk.
Yeah, we could maybe talk.
Dave's down to talk with you guys.
Yeah. No, it's Dave's work is so great. I actually have a framed your Storm because you guys sent us your X-Men series that you did. And I have Storm really nicely framed in my place. I want to get Cyclops done next. I want to get him done next, but I don't have hundreds of dollars for a nice frame.
Framing and matting
all the time.
And all that we're eventually going to get the whole series.
Every once a year, I'll go get one frame.
But just since we're talking about this, you just reminded me about when I was watching those live streams back in 2011. Since we're talking about our whole artist career, one thing I remember Dave, you saying, and this is when I still worked at World of Video. I remember watching and hearing you say, fuck going in a place for some reason. Like you just wanted to work from home.
Yeah.
And I remember that clicking with me
Oh
really
my
hard. And I
God.
was like, yeah, I'm going to quit my job. I just
Oh.
want to work from home.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, T
And
loves
then-
working from home. He loves it.
Yeah. And I've been working from home ever
Dude,
since.
I know. I call it, he's in his bat cave all the time. I call Tyson Batman, and he's always in his bat cave and shit. He doesn't want to leave either. He doesn't want to go to the social functions and do Bruce Wayne shit, you know.
Oh, wait. Yes, that's not true. We just went to an awesome party.
I know. That was the coolest. That was really cool.
It is a weird balance, though, especially when you love what you do. It's easy to get holed up and never leave the cave, basically.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, if I'm in
and
this,
it's amazing how you like affect like other people without like obviously when you're doing something, you know, like even what you guys are doing right now, like when you're on your YouTube channel, it's like you don't know who you're talking to.
Yeah.
And if you talk about like the things that helped you and you try and help other people, like you never really know when that's going to come back to you. Like right now, it's like moments like this where you actually get to talk to people who like were there, but maybe you didn't know them, but it's just like there was some kind of connection and you're like, oh, like somehow you contributed even without,
right.
you know, realizing it.
Right. I mean, it's the smallest things. Like we were just doing a meet and greet with our fans a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, we did a signing.
And yeah, it was surprising some of the things people say that like they'll go back and call out a video and the line that you said or something and then like, oh wow, I don't even remember that, but that had
Oh yeah, and there was a lot of people who were very impacted. Like there was a lot of people that we talked to that were very impacted by our work, and it was awesome to be able to, you know, commune with them and say what's up and let them, you know, tell me whatever they feel like they want to tell me. Because I get it. I mean, there's so many artists that I'm inspired by that like I just want to gush over, you know, like I'm a fangirl. I get it, you know.
Sure.
So I want to give that experience. But it's always, I don't know, our fans are really cool. Like our viewers are a little bit of everybody. I mean, I feel like we have a lot of different people that like our
and that reconfirmed that when we did the meet and greet.
Yeah, and it was
from 16-year-olds to
50-something-year-olds,
60-something
everything in between,
moms.
you know. Yeah, I mean everything.
Every type of person.
And everyone was so like, I don't know, really kind and like, I don't know, very nice, very thoughtful.
We don't meet our actual fans in real life because we don't do conventions very often.
I don't do conventions very often.
Yeah.
What was the last one you did? The one with the Robocop?
No, we did Indiana Comic-Con in 2015, I think.
Was it?
Right.
Yeah. Maybe that was the last one, I guess.
Maybe it was.
You did a video for that Robocop compilation thing, right?
Yeah.
Right. I
no.
that.
Well, wait, the RoboCop compilation.
Where they reshot all the scenes in the movie.
No, we weren't a part of that. No, we were not a part of that.
No, we did our own before that.
Oh, dude, I've got the scoop.
Okay.
I've got the scoop.
Okay.
Wait, what did you think before we get into that?
I thought you were part of that compilation where they redid the whole movie and fans did different scenes because I saw your scene and assumed it was in the movie.
No, what had happened is we had made a RoboCop costume actually before the whole Comic Book Teen show. We started that costume a year before, but it took so long that we were already a year and a half into our show when we finally finished it, premiered it at a Comic-Con, and then the suit was so cool when we finally got it on. We're like, let's shoot something with this.
Yeah,
because it was just gonna be a cosplay costume, but we're like, let's reshoot a scene from RoboCop.
Yeah,
you know?
Well, and the new RoboCop was getting ready to come back out,
right.
And so we wanted to like, you know, just play around.
Yeah, we were trying to time it
make
up
a
for
parody.
That. So we had already shot it, and I was in the editing when our friend Bill told us, "Oh no, channel what's it called? Channel
101.
Channel 101 is doing the entire movie, and they're reshooting all of it." I'm like, "What? No."
Yeah. And the thing that like really sucks is like I just wish that they had reached out to us and said,
they did. Yeah.
Nobody ever reached out to us, and
well,
they were actually, in fact, they were dicks. Okay, they were.
No,
they were.
No,
they
had
were
no
dicks
idea.
about. No, they did have an idea. I don't know who they are, by the way. I have no names here.
It's
like
nebulous.
It is nebulous. This is my conspiracy theory. Okay, but these are the facts. Okay, we had this one girl, Lindsay Ames, who was in our video, and then so. I know that like Fatal Farms got to do the same scene that we did. And Fatal Farms is like one of their big gun people. And so they already had seen our thing. They already saw ours. Ours already been out on the internet.
That was the scene that went viral.
So they were like, we have to blow them out of the water. So instead of just reaching out to us and saying, hey, do you want to feature? That's crazy that we're both doing this at the same time. Can we do you want to have your scene in our thing?
That's true. And we would have been happy.
And we would have been like, fuck yes. Like I would have been so excited to do that. But instead, they got their best fucking people with like the best budget to redo the same scene, blow ours out of the water because they have a huge budget. We did it with nothing. We did it with $0.
Yeah, they had
they had like $0.
They had like 100 extras or something in that.
We were
Is that
in
the penis
like
one?
Yeah, that's the one where he shoots.
Yeah, the one with the penis
over
one.
and over again. Yeah.
Right.
We were in our friend's, the back of our friend's like alleyway in Skid Row filming. Like that whole thing was filmed in Skid Row, like in the middle of the night, like for free, like with like just crazy shit going on around us. So it was like really awesome and insane and like perfect for RoboCop. But yeah, and then Lindsay Ames told me later that the Fatal Farms people had asked her to be the rape victim girl in their video.
Who was our rape
victim girl. So they even tried to get the same fucking actress.
That's our rape victim.
Spiteful to me. That seems spiteful.
That's our rape victim.
That's not a coincidence.
It's
that's
possibly
not
a
a coincidence.
It's possibly
It
a
does
coincidence.
not seem like a coincidence to me. I don't get why they couldn't have just like, we could have all put it together, because I would have loved to have been a part of it.
Well, I don't know how they put their whole thing together. It might be just a big group of people that know each other.
Whatever, dude. It was super lame.
That was one of the 2 scenes that went viral too. It was that one that Fatal Farm did, and it was the interpretive dance where he gets his whole body blown to pieces.
Yeah. My favorite one, though, although I did watch their thing, I did watch the whole RoboCop remake.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, not everything was successful. There was a few that were really bad, and there were a few scenes.
Oh,
but,
no, 90% of it is just like done in an hour, it seems, with a paper non-costume.
But my favorite scene was when that guy gets the toxic sludge on him, and he's like, woo, and then they did all this like psychedelic stuff. That was so cool. Whoever did that one, I was like, that's so awesome. I don't know. I'm supportive, though. I like to support other artists. I don't tear them down. So
I wonder why they haven't done that with more movies. That was such a weird project when it came out.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it was a great idea, and like I am excited that they did that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, they should do another movie.
Yeah, I don't know. We kind of want to do some more RoboCop stuff, though, a little bit.
That costume's sick.
We've been talking about it. So we're developing some stuff potentially. We'll see. We got a lot of ideas.
I don't know if this is true. I heard there's a sequel to the original RoboCop series being shopped around. Not the new RoboCop series.
Oh, really?
I heard they want to do a new sequel to the old series of movies.
Oh, I heard something about that.
Yeah, and I don't know.
I mean, is Verhoeven doing it? If you have Verhoeven doing it, sure. If Verhoeven's
is he still working? What's the
he's
last thing?
Around. He's around.
Actually, he can't get work right now. He was talking about how it's hard for him to get
I know.
work.
We saw him randomly
at
the Cinerama Dome. Like, we went and saw Starship Troopers.
Yeah.
And then Verhoeven and Ed Neumeyer came out like afterwards and just did a surprise Q&A, which was like amazing. And Verhoeven was just like, I can't get any work. I keep like pitching all these movies. I want to do a crazy Jesus movie. I want to do this movie. I was just like, nobody will give me work. You know, I mean, he wasn't being a dick. He wasn't like bummed about it, but he was just being honest. Like,
I think it's just the reality of the Hollywood system right now.
Right. Well, I just feel like if you had Verhoeven come back, I would be interested.
Yes.
And Ed Neumeyer, like have Ed Neumeyer and Verhoeven come back, and I'm interested. And if you want to do it right, then do it right. But they're not going to do it right, I assume. They're probably just going to get some ass hats to do it, and then it's going to suck, and then it's going to be embarrassing and damage the IP some more.
Well, she's being very cynical right now. But from our experience of reviewing all these movies for 5 years, you do realize that most IPs end up in the wrong hands.
Wrong producers. Sure. It's just like in the wrong hands, just with people who don't understand. They have money, but they don't have comprehension.
And I feel like that's one of the reasons people get frustrated with our channel, is that they don't realize that fact, is that 90% of stuff ends up in the wrong hands.
This segues perfectly into another thing we wanted to talk to you about, which is that every review you guys do comes from a place of love. Even if you don't like the movie that ended up coming out, you love the IP typically. So can you talk about the weirdness of coming in like, I love Batman, but this Suicide Squad movie just didn't work. And like the weirdness of the fans wanting you to love it because they love it, but you have to be honest. And like, you're being honest because you love DC and you want it to be better, but there's that weird clash of people thinking you're just being a hater. But you love the Lego Batman movie, so it's not.
Lego Batman's so good.
Well, going back to the scandal videos, that's why you worked in the trolls saying, you hate DC.
Exactly,
for 5 years.
I mean, I have 3 Catwoman pop vinyls. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love Batman. Like, okay, like I'm in.
That's one thing your channel runs up against a lot, is that a lot of times if a movie's bad, you're not afraid to call it out as bad, but the backlash is that people go, you're being a hater.
Right. Well, that's also something that I learned from my family, it's like, they're all like that. They're like, tell you the truth, and they're just like, you're being an idiot, and they're very, not very nice about it. So I feel like I get some of that from them, where it's like that rubbed off on me, where when I see people messing up, it's like, ugh, like I just want to tell them. But I've tried to get more diplomatic and more charming than they do it.
And that's as director, that's what I'm always trying to do, is make her clarify her thoughts.
Yeah,
more.
no, he's definitely
the thing she does is she goes right for the emotion she's feeling,
right. Yeah,
before explaining why she has that emotion.
My Mercury's in Pisces, bruh. That's just how it's gonna be.
So a lot of people misunderstand you, and I hate it when people misunderstand you, because you are coming from a place of love.
Yeah, that's the thing. I've been watching for so long. Like, I get that you're coming from that place of love, and I see it. And like, even with Marvel stuff, like, I totally agreed with your thoughts on like Doctor Strange. Like, it should have been off the walls crazy, and it was
way weirder, guys.
It was very vanilla, and I was like, I really wanted this to just go nuts.
I know, but I feel like maybe the second one, they'll, once they get more comfortable, like Thor, it's like with Asgard, it was kind of awkward at first, but then now it's like, okay, they've like figured it out, so it's like magic's kind of weird, like Asgard is. So
are you going to try to do the Hela on your next your next calendar?
Oh my gosh, yeah, I would love to do a Hela outfit.
You're gonna build a prosthetic. You're gonna Photoshop the helmet.
I would love. I'd like to just make it out of foam or something.
Sure.
I feel like I'd make it out of foam. But I'm actually working on. I was actually so inspired by Wakanda and Black Panther that I went nuts on my day off on Monday, and I was like, I need to do a creative project for myself, because that is one thing, is like I funnel a lot of my time and energy and creativity into the show. But that's like also my business, and it's like, I don't know, I don't get time to just do things for myself, like just do fun, silly, creative projects.
Neither of us do, yeah.
So it's really important for me to be a happy person to do fun, creative projects by myself. So I was like so inspired by Wakanda. I went out and went to Joann Fabrics. I bought some fabric, and then I just like tied together this like whole weird onesie, and then I'm gonna put some snakeskin stuff on it, like make it look snakeskin.
I heard what's her name from Conan the Destroyer's in it. Who does she play?
Wait, I don't know. I don't know which one you're talking about. Grace Jones? Are you talking about Grace Jones? Because I didn't see Grace Jones.
Was she not in it?
Was she Grace Jones in there? I didn't see her ass. But maybe
I don't know. Never mind. I might be wrong. Someone mentioned she was in it, and I was like, that's awesome, because I haven't seen her in anything since like Bond.
I feel like, I don't know, we went to the screening, and it was like we were in the very back, and it was like watching the movie on an iPhone. It was like we were so far back.
I've been trying to get her to go, let's go watch it again, because I feel like I missed a lot of stuff because we were so far away.
I know. So maybe she wasn't there, but I don't know. I love her though. She was there in spirit, I'll tell you that. Like like it was just so great to see another badass chick with a spear, like just hitting folks. I just love it. I just love that. I love that whole archetype. I love Grace Jones in the Conan movie. So it was nice to see.
That second movie is so camp. I love rewatching it.
Oh, I haven't watched it in so long. I need to go back and watch the Conan movies.
Over the top.
I used to love those as a kid, though. So much.
Oh yeah.
The music. You got to leave the soundtrack on while you work or lift weights.
Oh, good. So good. But I remember her so vividly when I was a kid, because I was like the warrior. I like the warrior chicks. And I remember the princess was talking to her, and she was like, "How do you like get a man?"
Oh yeah.
Like, Grace Jones just like looks at her like, "Girl, what?" She's just like,
"Take him.
You take him. You take him." Like, what are you talking about? Like, you just take him. Like, what's your problem? Like, I love her so much. Like, I love her so much. It's so great. So great.
That's actually
from the original question here.
Yeah.
That's like so like with the Black Panther review thing you were just mentioning, that's another thing we wanted to touch on, is this new system of like influencers and like word of mouth movie review hype and stuff, and like pre-hype.
Yeah.
And like, how did you get involved with that? And like, how does that work? Do they basically let you come see the movie and then let you say kind of whatever your feelings were on it, or is there like a weird unspoken NDA, or like how does that whole system kind of play out?
Well, usually what happens is we don't get into a lot of pre-screenings or these sort of things very often, because we're independent, and the people that do get into these all the time are connected to other big companies.
Yeah, connected to big companies,
like
who
Collider
have
Heroes or something.
Yeah,
they get into everything early.
Yeah, when we were with Maker as our MCN, they had somebody who hooked us up with screenings, so we had a little bit.
Which must be confusing to our fans, because occasionally they'll see us like, "Oh, you were on the red carpet for Age of Ultron. How come you're not doing it for all the other movies?" This is because we were working with a company during that time, and they
hooked it up, and now we don't work for them, so we don't get the hookup. Like, we don't get the hookup anymore.
Was that when you got that crazy video of Stan Lee talking to
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe that.
They did like a bit in front of you.
I know, it was so amazing. They were just both like firing on all cylinders.
Right.
It's like really impressed.
James Gunn, that's whom. Yeah, it was James Gunn.
Yeah,
and,
James Gunn just started doing a bit in front of us on the red
Oh
carpet.
my god, they were so cute.
They're so
I just
on.
love that you pan the camera back over to you and them not talking to you after you asked them a question. They're just leaning into this bit.
That's fine. Just get them. They're performing. They're doing their job right now.
So
It was so funny. There was this at that red carpet. There was this lady who was right next to us who had no idea about any of the MCU. I think she worked for like a Spanish channel or something. She was just like, I just learned I was supposed to be here today. And she was interviewing James Gunn, and she like kept like
she thought James Gunn was Joss Whedon and didn't know.
Or no, at first she thought he was an actor in the film or something. It's who do you play in the film?
So
and he's like, no, I'm not in this. And then
this is why we decided to stop doing red carpets and not try to go in that direction, because it's a crazy.
Oh yeah, I don't need to do that. I did a few of those, and that's all I needed to do. And I saw what that was, and I'm good.
And there's a lot of people. It's kind of embarrassing for the actors a lot of the time. And
it's so awkward
because a lot of people really don't know what's going on and just aren't qualified to be there.
Yeah.
I mean, even Joss Whedon looked stressed in the interview you did with him, where he was like, I think I put a lot in there, maybe too much.
I did a lot.
Yeah, I did a lot.
Actually, we quote Joss Whedon.
I say that all the time, like almost every other fucking day.
I did a lot.
I did a lot because we do a lot.
You could tell he was stressed.
Oh, dude, yeah, he was so fatigued.
The burnout
so
in his face is kind of how we felt after Greater Creators.
Oh yeah, I felt burnout. Yeah, no, but I saw that burnout in him. He was super. Yeah, but
have you guys ever burned out as artists real hard?
Oh, I mean, it depends. We don't have like the flatline burnout we used to get when we were starting out, and like the whole how do you even do this like overwhelming feeling. But like there's definitely points where we work way too much and we got to step back and go, okay, time to make a schedule.
Yeah.
Time to like rein it in.
Time to rein it in.
What happened with our last Kickstarter is we made a 432-page comic book within the span of like less than a year.
Wow.
Yeah.
So like the actual work itself was put in that time, like writing it and then drawing and coloring and everything.
Yeah.
So like in that way, like you kind of, I mean, probably like how you guys felt doing the greater creators thing. It's like you want to test yourself to be like, can I do this? Like, is this something I'm capable of? Like, it's almost like a benchmark you're trying to reach. Just like something you're like, if everybody else is doing this kind of thing, like, people I look up to, whatever, like, want to be able to get there, but the cost is pretty steep too. So like in that case, it's not necessarily that we got burnt out, but it's more like you kind of go numb to it. And you're like, every day is the same.
You get really
like a year, and you're like,
you put on your I'm gonna work suit, and like, it's really hard you fall into some really bad habits. Like your sleep schedule's the first thing to go.
Oh yeah.
Then you're eating like little shit.
Oh
then
yeah.
Just the emotional distress comes in. You're stressed, and it's just like it just avalanches. Like once the sleep schedule is gone and you're out of a format, it just avalanches.
Yeah, you know what we do for that? We have a cure for that. Tyson, you want to tell them about making the loop?
Oh, okay.
Making the loop? What is this?
I've perfected the loop. So what I would only recommend this for artists like you guys. and if you don't have to go in a place for a while.
For bums, crazy people, but, vampires.
You know how you end up as an artist. Yeah, all artists pretty much that I've talked to end up staying up later and later and later because you're just working on your stuff. And like when I get in the zone on something, like I just want to stay in that zone. Mm-hmm. I don't even want to go to bed to stop.
There's no distractions at night. I mean, that's I think why we're pulled to work in the middle of the night, because there's no distractions. You can just focus.
So and then suddenly for us, it's like, oh, there's this project coming up. We need to be up early to shoot, especially for collaborating with other people. Like, so the best way for me to back it up, I've realized, is just to pull the loop. Just stay up later and later.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Work yourself around to the next. Right.
Like,
and for me, it takes about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I'm good. I'm getting, if I need to get up at 7 a.m. for something, that's the best way for me to do it.
Yeah.
I've never tried that. That's actually a really good idea.
Well, the first time it's going to be really hard.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. And it's easier to do it with a partner.
The buddy system.
The buddy system is a good way to do it.
But I did the dumb version of the loop where you go, I'm going to stay up for 2 days straight and go to bed at a good time after I've been awake for 48 hours.
That doesn't work for Tyson, but that can work for me. Like I can do that one. Like I prefer to do that one.
You need to back up 1 hour every night. Then 1 hour you wake up earlier. Then keep doing that, because if you go too far too fast, it could backfire and end up taking you way longer.
Well, the thing that I've done that's really changed how I work entirely, and maybe this isn't applicable for you guys, but like doing the book stuff, I wasn't staying up super late. Like I didn't do that. That was actually what was hurting me the most on our first book that we did, was that I did that. I would stay up real late. So I wasn't consistent every day with how well I executed my work. So like what I ended up doing this time around was I'd wake up around the same exact time every single day. I'd stop work by 6 and I'd make sure that I would spend time with like my wife and do things. I would just say no matter what happens, I'm stopping at 6, and it doesn't matter if I'm slow.
That's discipline. That's discipline.
It's like
it's about like squeezing the hours for everything they're worth, as opposed to adding more hours to it.
I would just tell myself like I just need to get faster at what I'm doing. It doesn't matter, like what's happening. I need to get faster, and that's kind of what changed me a bit more. Because if I give myself all night, I'll use all night.
Yeah.
Versus like a short period.
And that's the other thing, like, you guys went to art school. That's very like, I'm going to stay up for 3 days straight and work on my like, it's a very college mentality that's like really, really hurts in the end. But like,
totally. I can't do the all-nighters anymore.
No.
I can't either.
So
I have this weird theory that you have a certain backup of hours that you can use for all-nighters, and once you've hit 0, you can never do it again.
Right. Yeah.
Your body only has so many all-nighters in it. Like you've got 1,000, and once you've used them, it's gone.
Totally.
It's kind of like the getting way too drunk thing. Like I haven't done that in so long.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, Dan got back-to-back pneumonia.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Really?
I just got over it. Yeah, in October I got pneumonia, and then I thought I was over it, and it relapsed, and they hospitalized me briefly, and I was on like doxycycline and hydrocodone, and like it was like 8 weeks of pneumonia, and I was like, okay, I gotta change everything. Gotta change my whole life. Gotta exercise, go out more, not work as much.
Yeah, but that's good though. It's like, again, it's the black sun, it's something that was like really negative that happened to you, but like you learned a lesson from it that's valuable, and it's pushing you to be like better, But I think that's, as humans, like we just have to have negative shit happen to us before we'll change our ways.
I think what we're all talking about is finding our limitations and then knowing where those are and trying to not go over the edge again.
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, it's like my health has been a big thing for me over the past few years, I literally stopped going to conventions because I get sick every time I go. My immune system is not up to it.
We both get strep in New York. I can't remember. Whatever it was, we both got it, and it was the worst.
And it's the worst. And it's just like, it takes so long to get better, and I just don't have, my immune system just isn't up to it. It's just not up to it. And maybe it's because I work from home.
No, it is. Remember, we were just talking to some people that were airline pilots.
Yeah.
They were like, how do you guys, you guys have people.
Flight attendants.
Sorry, yes, flight attendants.
Yes.
And we were like, how did you guys not get sick? And they were like, well, actually, we do get sick. In your first week of being a flight attendant, because you have germs from all over the world in there, you get really sick. And then you just build up the immunity to basically
but then it's
everything.
Fine once you get over it, like you kind of get used to it.
But for us, we don't have that immunity built up, and so when we go to conventions, we often get sick on the way back.
But that's why I like to go to the mall every now and again. Go get some lunch at the mall, get exposed to a bunch of different people.
Just start licking people.
Yeah,
get those antibodies.
Exactly. But the thing is like also like since we're running a business, it's like you need to be, if you're running a business, like your business can only I don't know, like it grow as much as you can grow kind of. And like, I'm at capacity with how much stuff I can do at this health level. But if I work on my health levels and get even healthier and have more energy, then like, I don't know, I think everything will, it's a good way to go. So I'm trying to I've been trying to get healthier over the past like few years. Definitely. I'm still getting there, but my immune system's definitely like, I overworked myself and like, I fucked my shit up, I think. Like I fucked my immune system up.
By nature of what we do, we're all introverted, so it's like you're not out there as much.
Yeah, well, it's like I have to get like actually healthy now. It's like
we're in it together. I feel you.
You should join our gauntlet of goals.
Oh yeah, we got this ongoing thing where like you set goals for every day and you just give yourself points. It's like Jenny Craig for life improvement.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
Totally.
But yeah, I wanted to talk about your book clubs.
Yeah.
Right.
I know you did Dune. I followed along with that. That was really cool because I was only familiar with the movie with the Toto soundtrack. I had never I was aware of the books, but I'd never really followed along or read any of them. So that was really cool. And now you're doing Watchmen, which is the perfect time because HBO is developing a show.
Yeah,
Which,
it's crazy.
How do you make a show out of Watchmen that's more than one season is my question.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope that they don't try to do something stupid like that. Like, I think if they are going to do the Watchmen, just do the Watchmen and have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And that's why it's so impactful.
Well,
it's
I don't
because it's
think
an
they're gonna do
enclosed story.
Yeah,
Well,
I don't know. I don't know how they're gonna get multiple.
Well,
like,
again,
maybe
you know,
2
dumbass
seasons?
producers who
No,
have no
I know.
fucking clue.
I have an
you know,
idea of how they're going to
like-
do it. I think that they're going to basically try to just expand the whole world. You know, 'cause the story goes back to the 1930s,
Sure.
and I think they could do a whole season in the 1930s if they
Right.
really wanted to expand
Yeah,
it out.
yeah, I guess so. I
And
guess
just
so.
show this whole world.
But I'm excited to see what they come up with. We'll see. You know, I'm not like on the hype train, but I'm not like hater either. You know,
Yeah, we'll
It's
see.
like, we'll see.
HBO's like really hit or miss. Like some of their shows are phenomenally good, and then other ones
Yeah.
are just kind of like, okay, we're gonna forget about this.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm kind of excited about it because Damon Lindelof, I saw on my old copy of Watchmen, he's
Mhm.
he's actually has a quote on here, and he says the greatest piece of popular fiction ever produced.
Oh, so
and
he
this-
actually is attached to it.
he's been attached to Watchmen for
Yeah,
over
and he's a true
a decade and a
fan.
half.
He's a real like hardcore fan of it.
Okay.
So
This seems like a dream project for him, and I don't think he's ever gotten the ideal thing. I mean, Lost was his big thing that everyone criticizes, and yeah, it's very flawed, especially at the end.
Sure.
But I don't feel like he's been handled just right yet. So I think there's a potential that it could be.
yeah.
Sure.
But I mean, how timely is Watchmen in general right now? I
Yeah.
mean, the reason why I
Oh, yeah.
chose Dune and the reason why I chose The Watchmen is because I think they're two classic works of literature that are so timely with everything that they're talking about. I feel like
Yeah,
very
they're
relevant.
really evergreen. Like cyclically, both of them become relevant over and over and over and over again. Because most
Yeah.
Alan Moore stuff does that, though. He's really good at that kind of thing.
He's magical. He's a wizard.
It's never whatever HBO show is, it's never going to get his endorsement. So
No,
it's never
definitely
gonna happen.
not. Definitely not. But you know, I have more leniency towards the idea of an HBO show than I do towards what DC is doing over
Right.
with their Doomsday Clock stuff. I think that's kind of like, oh, come on,
Yeah,
guys.
that's kind of a
quit
bummer.
poking at Papa Moore. You know, quit poking at that poor guy. You know,
That poor man
that poor man
who lives
you
by
know.
his ideals to a fault.
Yeah, he does, but I respect that to a degree.
I
I
do
think
too.
that
You have
it's
to.
like, but it's also insane at the same time. But I get
is.
it. I'm crazy, and I have my own weird hills that I'll die on that make no sense to anybody else. You know, like I get it. But it's. I wonder though. Okay, this is one thing. My fangirl thing is if we are going to have Dr. Manhattan come
Mhm.
into the DC continuity, and they're bringing Promethea also into the DC.
Oh, sure.
I just want them to. I want them to hook up and meet. I want to. I want to see a meeting between Promethea and Dr. Manhattan. I would be interested to read that. I'm sure whoever's going to write it is probably. It's
So
probably not
wait,
that great.
I
but
actually
in my head, it's awesome.
I didn't know this. They're going to bring the characters into the DC continuity?
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah,
know
that's
that.
that's the story behind Doomsday Clock. Well,
Rorschach is hanging out with Batman.
Oh my
Right.
god, really?
Yeah.
no, it's really kind of slutty.
Oh man.
What happened?
Wait a second. What?
Okay, so here, okay,
How
I'll try to
is Night Owl not instantly lame next to actual Batman?
Right.
But what
It is
happened was
incredibly lame.
in the new 52, in the end of that, I didn't read it, but apparently it ends with a tie to their universe changing because Dr. Manhattan came in the end, and that was a big surprise. And then now they have their new universe, and so this has all been leading up for over a year or two now to them doing this. Apparently, trying to merge the Watchmen characters into the DC universe.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ozymandias
I didn't
is
know
popping
that.
over.
Oh, man.
Yeah, like what's his face? Dr. Manhattan's gonna breach the
Source
source wall or some shit. So
That's so
I
weird.
couldn't
'cause-
imagine being Alan Moore.
oh my
hearing
god,
that.
he's so bummed.
Yeah.
He's so fucking bummed. He's so bummed.
Ripping
Like
his hair out.
it's just so sad. And Promethea especially, like I got really upset when I heard about Promethea. Like I did.
Yeah, I don't even know.
I was like
She's
yelling
like a
about it
literal-
on Twitter. I was
She's
just
a literal
having
goddess, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was just so triggered because I was like, don't you bring this goddess into your filth universe, you know, like your trash universe. But then I came to realize that like many other goddesses of creative force before her have had to make a journey into the underworld.
Oh, there you go. There you
so
go.
this is her turn. This is just
Hero's
a part of
journey.
her.
Yeah,
This is
sure.
her hero's journey. She's got to go through the underworld, and this is her thing. So I accept it. I accept
That's an
it, and I
amazing
wish her well
rationale.
on her way.
That's great.
I had to philosophically square it with myself before I could accept it, though, and like not be angry about her. But again, just give me some fangirl shit. I want to see Dr. Manhattan hang out with Promethea. I think that they would like, because he's like ultimate daddy force, and she's like ultimate mommy force.
Right.
Like they're both that Hokmah Bina Kabbalistic shit. So
we'll see what happens. I mean, I can't wait to read Promethea.
I'm so excited for you
to read it.
Oh, I'm so excited for you.
But yeah, like back to the book club, because we went on a big tangent there. I just wanted to like, you're doing Watchmen now. I think you're up to chapter 3 now?
We're doing session 3 coming up on this Sunday, and it's going to be where we're talking about issues 5 and 6. Mm-hmm. And we've been talking about 2 issues a week, so we're doing 6 weeks. And we're hitting the, I guess, halfway point after next Sunday. And it's been great. It's been so much fun diving into this. I haven't read it in over 10 years, or about 10 years. And so reading it now with my new perceptions and awarenesses that I didn't have when I was younger, it's just been like I've found so many new things. I love how much like I have so much more sympathy for Comedian this time around, and also for Silk Spectre 1. I find myself like really relating to Silk Spectre 1 versus Silk Spectre 2. Lori I have problems with, but her mom I kind of am loving more and more and more as the years go on.
And I think that's almost what he intended.
Yeah, it's just but again, it's like I see that now that I'm a little bit older and a little bit more mature, I understand why I would have more sympathy for those characters.
Connecting with the characters more than you did before.
Yeah. So it's been a magical journey. I don't know. It's been so much fun. And Dune Club was crazy. That was a crazy marathon.
For anyone who wants to like read along with Watchmen, do you want to like say where they can view it?
Oh yeah.
Is this part of the Patreon?
We do so we're doing the book club stuff on Twitch. So we have a Twitch channel. So on Sundays at 4 p.m. we are doing the Watchmen Club right now, and that's on twitch.tv/comicbookgirl19. And then we also post it on our YouTube later though. So it's like if you want to come hang out live, like cool. If not, don't worry. Like we're gonna have it posted on our YouTube. On YouTube. Yeah, we do a couple
days later.
We do that. So yeah, and I'm excited about. I want to do a big announcement. Can I do a big announcement, guys?
Oh yeah, we'd love that.
Can I do my big announcement?
Sure.
So, all right.
What's your big announcement?
We did
Have you run this by me?
First, we did Dune Club, then Watchmen Club. After Watchmen Club, we're going back to Arrakis for Dune Messiah Club. That's right, folks.
Awesome.
I've thought about it. I've been thinking about it for many months now. And I want to go back to Arrakis. I didn't get enough. I want to go back. So after Watchmen Club, I'm really excited to get into some Dune Messiah with you guys.
And that should be a lot easier because that looks way shorter, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That one's way shorter. It's like 200 pages versus like the 800 pages Dune is. Because that was one thing I learned.
Yeah. When do you think that's going to be starting up for people that want to hop in?
Let's see here. So Watchmen Club ends in March. So it'll be like April.
Well, let's not announce a date yet.
Well, we don't. I mean, I can just say it'll be sometime in the summertime. In the summer, we're gonna launch. We'll do the thing is we always do a box where you can buy the book.
Yes, the Watchmen box was fantastic, by the way.
Thank you. So after Watchmen wraps up, then I'm gonna get together my stuff for the Dune Messiah pack, Dune Messiah box. And then we'll do a pre-sale on that like we always do. And then I have a really sick Litany Against Fear metal t-shirt actually that's going to come in the pack that I already have. Like I'm working with Matthew Skiff, this amazing illustrator. He's one of my favorite illustrators.
He's great.
Yeah, he's
so good.
Incredible. Everybody should go check him out.
Oh, he's so good. And I'm so lucky to have him. And actually we're just finishing up the design for the Litany Against Fear t-shirt. And he did that image actually that's on the Twitch channel right now of me in the Bene Gesserit costume.
Oh, cool.
He used that, and he did an illustration of that where I'm holding the box, and then there's like this galaxy behind me, and then on the back it says Litany Against Fear, and it kind of looks like a Cradle of Filth font, and then it has like the litany in the back, so it looks like the tour dates, but it's just the Litany and Fear on the back. So
that's awesome.
So I'm really excited about like sharing that. So that'll be coming in the next few months. Be on the lookout, kiddies.
What's the process like for making the like extras that come with being a part of like the book club and the box?
Oh my gosh, it's a lot of
I
work.
guess it's a lot like doing a Kickstarter.
It's a lot like doing a Kickstarter. Yeah. I mean, it's like shipping and it's like logistics. And since like I'm really the one who manages like the shipping operations and stuff like that. Like Tyson is so busy with editing and everything else that I'm kind of working on this other stuff. And so
we have this time. We used to have a assistant we had hired for Dune Club.
yeah, we did have an assistant for Dune Club, which really helped. But she dipped out on us. She dipped out right when Watchmen Club right when Watchmen Club thing launched. So I kind of had to work with one hand tied behind my back. But I had a bunch of other people who came together and like helped me get this done. And I have a good team now. I had to find a distributor. So I have a distributor who ships most of my stuff out. Although I'm doing the packs by myself now, but I'm working on finding another distributor. And then I had this girl, Kelsey. She's my accountant, works with me on my accounts and stuff. And so she helped me find good deals on stickers and patches and everything else. Yeah. But this time around, like, I don't know, the Watchmen box, I'm so proud of it, but I had so many little tiny items. And it was a lot of logistics and it made it a lot more difficult. And so I've kind of learned a lesson from it, even though I'm very proud of it and it came off great. And I'm just like, everybody's happy with it. But next time around for the Dune pack, the Dune Messiah pack, I'm going to keep it simple where you just get the Litany Against Fear t-shirt, a book, like a bookmark, a little, thing that tells you the schedule. And also like a little Litany of Fear card that goes in your wallet. So if you're ever having a fear moment, you can just pull that out.
Oh, I see.
Just have it with you. I think that'd be cool. Yeah. I think that'd be cool. So I'm just going to keep it simple. And then I get some really nice poly bags made. I'm so excited. It's so stupid how excited I get over like what you put.
No, it's fun. Putting together a package of stuff that all thematically goes together is weirdly satisfying.
Packaging is important.
It is. It's super fun. And also, I mean, Matthew Skiff designed all of our stuff for Watchmen Club. And I was, again, lucky to be working with him on that. And he made just amazing stuff, like drew our characters as Watchmen characters. And
how does that work for like being able to distribute that on your own, like, and with the books themselves, like when you're working with somebody and you're developing those things, like, do you have to go through anything legally, or does it fall into like a parody thing, or how does that all work?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't had anybody cease and desist letters. We haven't had anything. We haven't asked for permission. I feel like it's better to ask for forgiveness than beg for permission.
But all of the stuff we're making is a slight parody of Watchmen.
Right, that's what I figured.
You're mixing characters with your own stuff, and book clubs have been around forever. I mean,
Oprah's done
more copies of their book. Yeah,
totally. And it's not like we stole the books; we bought them all. And
we bought them from a bulk bookseller, fair and square. Like they're whatever's, and it's a part of a pack. So
technically, you could say we're giving the book away for free, and we're just selling our box and you're funding our classes for all the money's going.
I mean, but nobody's given us any shit about it, so it's been really good. But we also I love towing the line. Like that's another thing I love in business, because I have to do so much business stuff. I have to find things that's fun for me to do, because I'm not really a business kitty. I'm more of a I like to be in cloud cuckoo land. If you guys watch the Lego Movie, I don't like to pretend to be business kitty. But I have to do that sometimes. And so, but the thing I love to do is toe that gray area of like, how much can I rip you off and make money and you can't do anything about it? Because I feel like corporations like fuck us all over all the time. So how can I, as a small business, use them and, turn the tables?
Ellen Moore would be very proud of you.
Right?
And you guys with your, you guys do a pop culture art stuff. I mean, it's
we've been cease and desisted by people.
Really?
Well,
really?
They've tried.
They didn't actually.
They haven't succeeded.
They didn't send a cease and desist. They sent a letter saying, we might do this if you don't stop. And I was like, this isn't illegal, so go ahead.
Yeah.
Are you allowed to say who it was?
I can say that we're making a parody card game. That's it.
Okay.
I can say that the name of the parody card game is Mystic the Togathering.
Yes.
Okay.
But here's the thing. It's not actually a game. It's trading cards, and it says that specifically on the Kickstarter. You can't play it. So number one, it's not infringing, and number two, it's clearly a parody. The name's Mystic.
Right. It's a parody.
It's so parody. There's stuff in there that I don't want to ruin it because the people who ordered it didn't get it yet. But there's things in there that like break the fourth wall in a huge way, and like it's just some people just don't want to take a joke, but.
Yeah.
That's the way it goes. Once you start making your own IP and stuff and putting out your products, there's always going to be people that that try to, nickel and dime any opportunity.
Yeah.
That's cool that you guys are doing that. I mean, the boxes themselves are awesome. Like, I love all the little extra things, like stuff like that is kind of what got me excited about, like, I don't know, I feel like I used to collect things like that when I was a kid, like around IPs, and it's nice to see something like that coming back where, like, I don't feel like a lot of people do that anymore.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, it was so funny. We've had like a bunch of people, mailing us pictures of, them getting their Watchmen box or their Watchmen pack. And like, there was this one guy who had all of his Watchmen stuff. Like, this guy has like every friggin' Watchmen thing like ever created. Like, he had this huge display
Collection of everything.
And then our Watchmen box was right, prime center in there, and it was just like, oh wow, like he must be really loving this, and
Right.
I don't know, I just like making cool stuff that I would, like you were saying, like I just want stuff that I would want,
Exactly.
and,
yeah.
And I make all the stuff that like I want, and I think I have good taste, and other people seem to dig what I like. And
well, that's the thing. Like when we made our books, we were like, we want it to be cloth with gold foil, like an 1800s book, and they were like, this is a comic, don't do that.
Right. And you're like, no, but I have to.
That's why we didn't go with the publishers, because all the publishers we talked to, like Dark Horse and stuff, they were like, yeah, we can do it, but it's going to be a softcover book. And we were like, no, it has to be like a grimoire.
I know, and it's
stupid skeleton comics.
It's so stupid, but it's so important, and it's like that extra little thing though. It really, that tactile sensory is just so pleasurable. And I mean, I love
it's part of the joke, because it seems so fancy, and then you open it up and it's the dumbest drawing. Like, exactly. There you go.
Oh yeah, I'm so excited about your Steve Lichman comics. I'm so excited for you guys. Like, it's been so amazing to watch you guys go.
I can't wait to send you.
Congratulations on all your success.
You're on the short list for the first copies once we get them.
Woo! Oh my gosh, I can't wait. I thoroughly enjoyed Steve Lichman Volume 1, and I shared it with a lot of my friends. I was just like, there was definitely more than a few people.
Thank you for that, by the way.
You need to read this.
That helped a lot. We actually got a lot of feedback from people you shared it with. That was a big help.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what I love to do. I mean, that's my whole job, is like, on that Myers-Briggs personality test, I bounce between the teacher and the champion.
Sure.
They're like, and so like I like to champion things, and I get a kick out of it. So it's like, I like when I see something that's amazing and that gets me excited, I love sharing it. It's like the greatest pleasure is to kind of share those things with others and blow them up. That's basically
what this whole idea for this podcast is we just want to introduce people to other creators who we like the stuff of. Just like, check this out. Go check it out.
No, this is a great idea for a podcast, and talking about artists' techniques and what they're doing and shipping problems. Like,
oh my gosh,
I wish I had something like that years ago.
Dude, yeah, man, don't even get me started. Like, I could talk about shipping for like 5 hours, just horror stories. Just
yeah, you guys should do one just on shipping.
You've done a lot of stuff. Like, you do calendars, right? Like, that's
one
of the other physical products that you guys ship out.
Yeah, we've done. We've done a cosplay calendar, and that was really fun, but it took so much time to do all those photos that it was just like, I mean, it really helped fund our whole year. Like, selling that calendar was amazing. Like, people really came out for it, but it just took so much time that we never ended up doing another whole calendar.
YouTube videos. Everything we do ends up slowing down making YouTube videos, but everything we do funds making the show. So we're always in this.
But I want to do another one,
stay
though.
Pretty fresh, though.
Yeah, but I want to do another one though. I think that like I was talking to Shogren at he works with like Gallery 1988 a lot, and he was saying something about maybe doing a Comic Book Girl 19 show and getting all these artists to contribute, and then we can make like a calendar from all these different like artist renditions, which I think it could be really cool. I need to talk to him more about that, but we'll see. Like, I would love to do more calendars, and I am doing another cosplay. I'm doing a Dr. Manhattan cosplay coming up, so I got that coming up. And I mean, I don't know, I'm sure I'll dress up some other dumb shit this year. I love dressing up so much.
You got your Wakanda thing in the works.
Oh, I don't know. I had a friend of mine who's like wants to do this villains night and like everyone get in a villain aesthetic and like go to like the magic castle. And so I'm thinking this Wakanda outfit could definitely turn into like a more of a snake lady look, and I could wear this for my villains night potentially. But I don't know. There's a whole. I'm meeting a lot of people in LA right now who like to dress up like assholes, and so. But you have to like. You have to have a good setting for it, though. You can't just do it anywhere.
No,
So
you
it's
can't.
like, you look like an asshole if you're just doing it by yourself. So if we all, glue together and go out and do something.
Well, it's like every year I go to New York Comic Con, I walk out of the hall, and every year I'm like, how has there not been an art show at the gallery across the street called Rogues Gallery yet? Where they just have people dress up like villains and do paintings. Like, how is that not happened yet? Like, there's so many weird things you could do with
amazing. See, I could see. Okay, I see your brain. All right, you got that marketing thing. You know what's up. Like, I see you, Dan. You got that. You got that Mad Men. Did you watch Mad Men?
Oh, I love Mad Men. It's fantastic.
Yeah, see, you watch Mad Men.
That Don Draper misery where you stare out the window and go, "That's an idea."
Yeah.
Let's do that.
That's like literally all we want to get into is doing advertising. Like it's what we do all day when we talk to each other is just make stuff up and be like, what if they just did this? Like, how come nobody's doing this?
Yeah.
Everybody would go crazy if you just did this thing.
Right. I know.
Advertising is an art form.
It is. Oh, we're always like, when we see like billboards, Tyson's always pointing out billboards. He's like, what is this billboard? You can't even read this. Like, oh, this is horrible. Like, we're critiquing like people's shitty marketing.
Oh yeah. I love getting mad about fonts and things. We're like, why?
Oh my god, fonts. I was actually I follow Tim and Eric on Instagram, and they just posted this old clip when they're both like running for president. And
I've seen that.
Eric is like, I'm gonna be running for president, and Tim is running for is vice president in Jokerman font. I need that in Jokerman font, and like they show it, and then they fucking have it in Jokerman font, and I was just like dying laughing over a Jokerman font.
Fantastic.
I love making fun of fonts. Like people like when normies try to be wild and use a crazy font, and you're just like, it's always Impact, It's
I know.
like,
I was about to say. I have a friend that always uses Impact font. It drives me crazy.
It's just like stop. Like, I don't know. It's my elitist art school background coming in here.
Did you guys ever watch Eastbound and Down?
No.
Oh, never mind.
No.
There's a joke in that where he yells at a guy for using a JPEG, and he gets mad and says he should have used a fucking TIFF file, and he freaks out. And I'm like, I love this.
Oh, so good.
That specific.
Oh yeah.
Watch that.
So good. So good.
But anyway, like as we're winding down here, I guess I wanted to ask, because you have such an extensive collection of things that you've read and seen and done, like for people listening who part of the thing that me and Dave are doing with this challenge with each other is to try and read more stuff, experience more stuff, get more influence going, more inspiration. Like, do you have any must reads in terms of comics or novels and things that you'd really suggest everybody check out right now, or just something you're super into right now? Same with movies and TV shows, like any must watches.
Let's see here. For my television, recently I got into Baskets. Zach Galifianakis's FX show.
Oh yeah, right.
And I got hooked on that, and like I think that's some real shit. Like I think that Baskets is so good. Like it's so meta. It's so smart. There's so much thought and put into it, and there's so much heart in it. And Louis Anderson plays his mom, and like, oh my god, it's like the best role ever. Like it's like Louis Anderson as his mom. And it's
I have to watch this now.
I totally buy him. I totally buy him as Christine 100%. Like he totally is. I love it. It's so good. So that got me really. That's the show I've been onto lately. As for comic books, I would say the thing my favorite comic right now is Snot Girl by Brian Lee O'Malley.
Great.
It's just like so fucking close to home, man. It's just like I read it and I'm like, this is my life. Like, how do they know? Like, it's so crazy. It cracks me up, and it's just like the best. It's really good. It's about a fashion blogger who lives in LA with green hair, but she's like a mess, but she has this big online persona where she's got her shit together and is really cool. But in real life, she's like got a lot of anxiety and is just a fucking crazy person. And it's just like, yep, ding, ding, ding.
Weirdly specific.
It's very too real. It gets a little too real. There was actually in the last issue they were talking about like her friend is like, oh my god, like they're at this influencer convention, and her friend's like, my presentation tomorrow is a mess. I don't even have anything ready. Like, and she freaks out, and like they sit And they get together and they sit in the hotel room and they're like frantically pulling content out of our asses all night, you know, putting them into a PowerPoint presentation and getting this presentation ready the night before. And it's like, fuck, man, I've totally been there. I've totally been there, frantically pulling content out of my ass the night before I talk and then have to like put stuff in a PowerPoint, like, oh, here you go. Like the fucking deadline. It's crazy. Like it's just so real. And as far as novels go, I recently read Lucifer Principle by Howard Bloom, which is not a piece of fiction. It is a book about humanity as a superorganism. The idea that
I've heard of this.
we are connected through our idea sphere, through our ideas, through memes and stuff like that, and through our genes as well. Memes and genes, those are the two things that connect all of us.
By the way, quick interruption. Your meme series, is it going to come back?
Yeah, I'm sure I'll talk about memes again.
That was like one of my favorite things, and then it stopped.
Really?
And I was
That's
like,
what I need to do that on Twitch. I need to have like a Twitch meme show, you know, where I'm like, I
would have known that the frog was called Dat Boy if it wasn't for you.
Oh yeah,
really?
I'm so happy. Yeah,
that series totally was for a loop the most though of anything we've done.
Really?
I love that.
I really like memes, but I like trading cards too. I think that memes are the new trading cards. Somebody was asking about trading cards. I was like, memes are the new trading cards.
That's
the
a
things
good point.
You just trade them with your friends on Instagram. You know, I've got like a few friends that I send memes to every day.
Check out this new meme I got, and then everybody has it. And
every day they get a meme from me.
I've been trying to get you to incorporate more memes in like as an ending meme for a show. You know,
yeah.
Here's a meme right now.
Yeah, well, we'll do more meme stuff though, for sure. We'll do more meme stuff.
But anyway, the novel.
Oh yeah, but the novel. So okay, so funny story. Grant Morrison was the one who told me about this novel. He was like at this party and he was like, oh, you've got to read the Lucifer Principle. This book's brilliant. This guy's so brilliant. You'll just blow your mind. And he was just like freaking out about it. And I was like, well, shit. Okay. Like, all right, dude, like I'll do it. So, so I read it and it did blow my mind. And it's like made me like it's like one of those things, like once you read this book, it's like you can't, like once you see it, you can't unsee it, you know, about how like we do act as this super organism and we're all these competing like organisms, like an amoeba, you know, that's like eating pieces of other amoebas to become the top amoeba. And it's this whole deal. And he has these theories in there that like and this came out in 1997, I believe. And I mean, he's predicting stuff that absolutely has happened in some of his chapters like since then, where it's like, oh, wow, he saw this. But he was a really like brilliant scientist type, but he left academia. He didn't want to do academia and he decided that he wanted to go use his smarts to see if he could make rock stars. And he's like one of the people who's responsible for rock stars, creating rock stars. He managed or did PR stuff for Prince and like Billy Joel and like a lot of people. So yeah, I highly recommend the Lucifer Principle.
Awesome. T-Bone, you got anything you want to recommend?
Not really.
I make my own stuff.
Right.
Stuff I'm making.
I've been immersing myself in my own writings right now, so I haven't.
That's good.
You were just talking about how much you love Civil War, though. You rewatched that last night.
I did rewatch Marvel
the
Civil
movie
War last night. Yeah.
It's great. That giant man scene is the best thing I've done in any of the movies.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, super cool.
And the Russo brothers are really solid directors. I think they're the best.
I'm excited to see. Like, I wasn't super into the Infinity War thing until I found out they gave it to them, and I was like, I think they're going to do a good job with this.
Oh, yeah, out of everybody.
Right. Yeah, I've got a lot of trust in them right now. They've earned my trust.
But other than that, I've been watching Silicon Valley, which all the stuff we've been talking about applies to Silicon Valley.
Oh man, Silicon Valley is so meta.
Watch that show?
I've seen some of it. Yeah, it's on my list to finish. It was definitely good. The few episodes I saw were great.
And season 5 is coming out next month. March 25th. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's the show that reflects like our business life the most.
Yeah. Ups and downs and just like 1 minute you're riding high and the next minute, oh, everything's gone. Oh, you know, and you're just like, oh, fuck. It's just like crazy.
Suddenly you're rich suddenly and then you're broke suddenly.
Yeah. And it's just like up and down, up and down. Like it's almost too real for me. Like I don't always like watching it because I get stressed out.
Too
so
emotionally
impacted. This is too much. Like I hate this. Like it's reminding me of
no, Richard, don't do that.
I know. I yell at Richard. I'm just like, no, Richard.
She watches Silicon Valley like she's a football watching football yelling.
Oh, I do that. Yeah.
Season 3 of Game of Thrones, that was everybody I was watching it with because I was watching it in a group, and like they were going to the wedding and everybody was like, what's gonna happen? And I was like, I gotta leave the room.
Oh yeah.
I gotta get out of here. And then I heard all of them scream, and I was like, I've never heard people scream at a TV show.
Oh my god,
ever.
yeah.
They were
Totally.
screaming at it.
Totally.
I don't like watching Game of Thrones with a group of people because
It's crazy, man.
can't stop talking.
Yeah.
People
Well,
get
although we
invested.
do watch Game of Thrones with a group of people, we've totally got a neighbor Game of
Yeah.
Thrones deal, or our neighbors. We all get together and watch it. Not
I
all
don't
of
know
us. but
how
there's a few of
how to
us.
do that in a group with like any kind of show. Because if I watch a show, I like live inside of it.
Get
And I
it.
don't talk or
Dive
look at
in.
anything
Totally.
else.
Totally, Dave. Me too. Yeah.
No, I'm a talker. I'm kind of an asshole. I'm like,
It's only
"Ah!"
because I read the books. I was like, I don't mind watching the show with people because I kind of already know where it's going. But like,
right.
and the reactions was like, I've never seen anyone this invested.
Oh yeah, I think Tyson, the Red Wedding wasn't spoiled for you, right? That wasn't spoiled for you. I think I got to witness. I don't remember what you did though, because I knew what was coming, but I
Let's
don't
not
think.
spoil it for anyone listening, just
Yeah.
in case.
Oh, okay.
Just in case.
The
Really,
one person
guys?
on the
Oh
planet
my
left.
gosh,
Yeah.
I'm the worst. I'm like,
We can
"Fuck it,
do-
whatever."
Let's do another random stream sometime where we can just talk about Game of Thrones and what we like and don't like and the changes
Oh,
for like
yeah.
6 hours straight.
Oh
It'd
yeah,
be
no, I
great.
can't wait to
Just
see that last
cross-pollinate
season.
Twitches.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. We'll do
Yeah.
a 6-hour Lady Stoneheart stream. It'll be fantastic.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
And then
But
we'll do
anyway-
a 6-hour Lady Hawk stream.
That's yeah. Oh, what a great film!
That too.
Watch. Some of the worst costumes I've ever seen in a movie.
Some of the worst Matthew Broderick I've ever seen.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
so boring.
It's
The
great.
pacing is just
All
kills
those
me.
movies that didn't know if they wanted to be The Hobbit or Star Wars that came out around then, where things are kind of fantasy futuristic.
There's like, yeah.
It's like
No
the,
Man's
the
Land.
armor's way too modern looking, and you're like, I don't know what this is.
Yeah.
But anyway, wrapping up. Any advice to anyone looking to create their own audience or channel, or to make their own thing, or develop, just their idea of something they want to do, whether it's YouTube or a comic or a book or anything really? Just any advice for people that want to take that first step from where they are to where they'd prefer to be making their own stuff?
Well, I would say that definitely it all begins with personal passion. Whatever you want to do, you have to be personally passionate about it.
Assuming you have that, then experience.
Yeah, well, that's the next step. Yeah.
Finding your experience.
Yeah, but I just feel like the reason why we've done so well is because, like you were saying, we come from a place of love, like we really love all the stuff that we're talking about, even when we're critical of it. And it's authentic, and people know authenticity. We live in a world of bullshit. Okay, created by madmen type people. And so I think people respond very strongly to authenticity. And so just whatever you do, make sure that you're authentic. You're not doing something because you think it's a good idea for these people would like this. And it's like, make sure that you personally really care.
And then I think also as an artist, no matter what you're in, you got to find your niche
Yeah.
of something somebody else isn't doing
Yeah.
and make it your own.
Well, it's like, please yourself too. It's like we make a show that we think is funny, and we're confident in our humor, and other people, and we found out that other people like our humor too, so.
Yeah. That was one of the biggest things when we started our show, to understand about YouTube, because it was this unusual world. I read someone saying, like, other people, there are people out there that don't think like you at all, and they're not going to like what you do, but there's definitely someone out there that thinks like you. So go out there and take the risk that someone out there is like you and will like what you like.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's good advice.
But just make stuff for yourself. Make stuff that you think that you get a kick out of. If you're getting a kick out of it, then you're on the right path. If you're getting a kick out of it to some degree.
Definitely.
All of
Right.
that.
And eventually you'll find your fellow spiritual warriors like I did with you guys, and vice versa. And it all works out beautifully.
And it takes, it's just like, it takes time. Like, you'll have magical moments. It's not going to be like that every day. Like, every day is generally kind of mundane and a grind. But then, every now and again, it's like the universe hooks it up for you, and you get to have some magical night, some magical experience, and you meet new people and expand your network. And then, over time, those threads grow, and you have this web, and it's like you have all these new, I don't know. One big thing I want to do is just work with a lot of my friends. Like, I want to make friends with a lot of creative people and find ways for us to work together in the future. That really excites me. Because I don't know. I want to be a producer. Tyson's the director in the family. Like, I'm more the producer. I want to get everyone together and all play along, like that's my dream.
I like it. Well, thank you for coming on, you guys. That was great. It was really fun talk, and sorry it went so long.
Yeah.
Oh no, this was
Well,
fun.
That's great.
What's the
that's gonna
best
happen when
way
you bring
that-
her on.
I know. I know.
What's the best way that people can support you? We want to promote and make sure that, like all of us who are doing our own thing and creative types, it's like, how can we
Yeah.
help each other?
Oh man,
Keep
we
going.
have a variety of ways you can
Let's list them now.
You can check us out on our YouTube channel. Comic Book Girl 18 is our YouTube channel, and watch our videos and share them with your friends. Word of mouth is huge for us. That's most of our marketing budget advertising is from word of mouth. You guys telling your friends. And also we have a Patreon. If you want to join Team 19 on Patreon, we make sure to keep you updated on everything. We're always putting all these extra behind the scenes photos and all sorts of fun stuff on there. Actually, for Valentine's Day, I made a Valentine's Day playlist for my patrons. That like really, it was like 22 songs, and it went from like first like being lonely and realizing you're lonely, and then like, okay, now I'm gonna let somebody in, and it had this whole arc, and then when it goes bad, I had the whole thing.
We've been
like,
trying
really
to do a lot more with our Patreon lately and put
Yeah.
something out every week that isn't
Sure.
on YouTube or anywhere else.
But
Are
you could
still
also
doing you still doing the movies?
no, we haven't, but I'm gonna start back up on Twitch, I think, pretty soon. Like I'm gonna start doing some movie stuff this
Cool,
year.
cool.
I'm gonna be doing a lot of experimenting on Twitch, which is another thing. If you
Right,
can
our
follow
Twitch
us on
is-
Twitch.
Our Twitch
no.
channel is brand new, basically.
Yeah, we're starting out on Twitch, but we're slowly building our Twitch. We're learning as we go along, but that's another thing. So you can join us for Watchmen Club on Sundays. If you want to get involved in my book clubs, we have these nice boxes and things that you can buy to help support the class and support us. And you can follow me on Twitter at CBGirl18 and on Instagram at ComicBookGirl18. And you can just give me some high fives. Just think positive thoughts about me, even.
Okay.
Think nice things.
Fantastic.
Yeah. I'm all about that positivity.
Well, thank you for listening, everybody. Thank you to our guests for coming on. This has been the first
seriously.
episode of the Acceptable Podcast, and it was
Thanks for
every
having us.
time.
Oh, wow.
It was a lot of fun, guys.
Can't
So
wait to bring
honored.
you back in a year or so for a follow-up and
Oh,
see how
yeah.
everything is going.
Please do.
But
Oh, who knows what we'll be by then?
who knows? Who knows?
Do you want to announce the next guest?
Sure. The next guest, I want to talk for a minute so I can make sure I have the date correct, because I should have had it open.
My name's David, and I'm an erotic human being, and I have a lot of interests, and some of them are sexual, but not all of them. I'm not
boy.
limited in sex, but I am a dancer by heart. Fuck you if you don't like that. You ready yet?
Go ahead. Keep going. No, I got it. Our next guest will be Dan Avidan of Game Grumps on March 4th. That's going to be a ton of fun. And then after that, on, I believe, later in March, we'll be having Brandon Jones, founder of GameTrailers.com and Easy Allies on Patreon, joining us as well. So that will be our two guests for March, and look forward to that.
Awesome.
And thank you.
Congratulations on your
so
new
much.
podcast, guys.
Thank you. This is
Thanks for
Thank
letting
you.
me pop your cherry.
absolutely.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have had anyone else. This was
Aw,
Thank
I
you
hope
for
it was
helping us
wonderful. Yeah.
figure it out.
yes. Thank you,
All right.
everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.